Another day, another heroic me. Everyone's safe and sound.
We're doing a test,
Practice for nothing.
voice test.
Ready to roll out? Anytime.
All right. Well, I still need a headset, man.
Everyone's safe and sound? Looks like I didn't practice for nothing then. Ready to
I still need a headset, and I need an adapter. I bought the wrong adapter, and yeah. Hopefully there's no echo. Maybe you guys can tell me if there's an echo. I don't think there is. I have desktop audio enabled, so I'm not sure. I want to watch this video. And I have the Discord up. So where can I type in chat? Here we go. Does Wuwa still have optimization issues?
Really nice, will ya?
I think it's gotten better. They've been definitely fixing it.
Leave it to me.
But I don't know. I mean, I know some people I haven't had problems really, but I know some people that kind of have. Sometimes their game crashes, or they have some lag issues, and the loading is not that fast, or whatever. I mean, but for the most part, it's fine, I guess. But you know,
Guests of the unkind.
the optimization really was just the why it draws so much power, like why it draws so much, or requires like such high specs. Like even when the game isn't that, it doesn't look that graphically intense. You know what I mean? I think it's just the engine, right? I think they're using Unreal Engine. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think they fixed the, like, from launch, they fixed it. They had a lot of optimization issues on launch, but they fixed that mostly. But it's still like, it still doesn't run great on low-end machines. And it's still like, it takes a lot of yeah, they use Unreal 4, yeah. It takes a lot of power or whatever. It takes a lot of resources, more than Hoyo games, that's for sure. All right, so I spend my using this to. What games do you play, man? What games do you play? You don't play Wuthering Waves. You said you didn't get into it because the optimization issues. Well, I got a new hard drive, so I'll be able to play. I'm only doing Wuthering Waves for a little bit here, but then I want to test out playing. I'm going to try Genshin and Zenless on stream to see if it works. So I have Genshin and Zenless. That's I'm going to play today too. And then we're going to watch a video and see if the stream goes well. I still need a headset badly because I'm using a podcast microphone. You play the Hoyo Trio, War Thunder, and Outlast Trials. War Thunder is like the tank game or something. I want Neverness to Everness to come out. Oh, maybe you should watch a Neverness to Everness video. That's what I'll probably watch today too. But yeah, like, I mean, honestly, I'm getting a little bit bored of Wuthering Waves, but you know, there's a new update. People are excited about the team attack thing or whatever. It looks okay, I guess.
Guests of the unkind.
I want to hear if the game audio's balanced right. I'll check after this fight.
Reduced to cinders.
Oh god.
Feathers
Good.
incinerate.
Yeah, I'm gonna make an Everness to Everness video, but I don't know, man. Like, there's not a lot of news for Neverness to Everness coming out. Hopefully we get more news from it for Neverness to Everness. I really don't like the name. I really wish they changed the name of the game. It's just it's annoying to say. I'm just gonna say NTE, but it's still kind of annoying to say. I think it's a terrible name, Neverness to Everness, but you know. Yeah. Hopefully. Well, it's looking like it's not multiplayer online like TOF. So, Neverness to Everness. I'm hoping a lot of people are going to compare it to Grand Theft Auto, and I know there's going to be backlash by people saying, "Well, you shouldn't compare it to Grand Theft Auto. It's not that extensive of a game." And but people are going to do it anyway. People are going to compare it to Grand Theft Auto. Like, you won't be able to stop it because that's just you're driving around a city and you can, well, I don't know. I'm worried about Neverness to Everness because what is there going to be what are you going to do in the city? Like, what are the activities to do? I don't even know. Like, it just looks like there's random encounters with like weird dimensions or something, but how often does that happen? Is that like I'm worried like a lot of the buildings in Neverness to Everness are going to be empty, or you won't be able to enter them. It's just going to be empty buildings, and we'll see, but I don't know. Alright, let me finish up Wuthering Waves dailies, and I want to play, I want to stream, finally be able to stream Genshin and Zenless. Yeah, I'm gonna play Neverness to Everness. I'm assuming it's probably gonna come out. I think we're still like a year away from it, honestly. I'd be surprised if we get it sooner than a year, but we'll see. I don't know. I mean, the character designs in Neverness to Everness, they're not that great, unfortunately. They don't look that polished or well designed. They look a little bit basic. And but the world, like the city looks cool. It's just I'm worried like what kind of content is there in the game? Is it gonna were we gonna explore things like or is it just gonna be like mission based or something? I don't know. We'll have to see. We don't know much about it, right? But okay, let me see what else I have to do here. Wait. Okay, well, let's do this.
Caged bird now.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of people are kind of they're kind of worried because the footage we saw from Neverness to Everness is you can't run over people in the open world. Like you can't. There's no. It doesn't look like there's gonna be consequences for driving your car around. So I think I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I think people are gonna be upset about that. That there's not gonna be enough consequences for that kind of stuff. Like I'm guessing the police won't be called on you if you like, you know, run around and destroy the city with your car. But I don't know. I am gonna play it though. I mean, yeah. I'm assuming probably next year around this time, or maybe in the summer. But Zenless Zone Zero's anniversary is in the summer, and then Genshin's in September. So and then Star Rail's anniversary is in what's it called? It's like end of April or something, end of March, I forget. So I don't know if they want to release
Make it fast.
it around like this time would be probably perfect to release a major gacha game because there's nothing really happening like November. So all right, I finished the dailies, and there's an event. Oh no, I have to do this guidebook thing. Tune and echo. I don't want to. All right. Between Genshin, HSR, and CZZ, only Genshin that I know what we are doing and the purpose of the story. I still have no clue what the purpose of the Trailblazer is, and in ZZZ. Well, I don't. Do you watch Ashikai? Ashikai put out. She does some lore videos on. She does a little bit of HSR and Zenless Zone Zero. Obviously, she does more Genshin lore videos. But yeah, like Genshin's story, in my opinion, I like Genshin's story the most, right? But
Make it fast.
Zenless Zone Zero, it's getting better. There's an overarching story in Zenless Zone Zero that is just not taking the forefront right now.
Leave it to me.
I mean, as far as the Trailblazer, I have no idea. I mean, well, there's the overarching story in HSR is one day you're gonna have to fight or confront Nanook, the Aeon of Destruction. I think that was that's like the only plot point that I remember being the overarching story in HSR. And that was explained by Kafka like very early on in the what was it, the second part of first time we go to the Laofu, and then it's kind of like it's not really talked about much after that, right?
Plan with convention. then conquer.
Yeah, well,
by
okay, so I'll tell you about the Zenless Zone Zero thing is that, so the overarching story in Zenless Zone Zero is that, so right now, it seems like Hollows they were like digitally created or something, and it was an experiment gone wrong. And Wise and Bell's master were, she was kind of working on something to counteract the Hollows, but then there was like this religious cult that sacrificed themselves to grow Hollow Zero and stuff like that. I mean, it's a bit complicated. I'm not explaining it correctly, but like there is lore there. It's just we're not getting to it in Zenless Zone Zero that quickly. I guess you could say it's more like it's really in the background, right? Because the overarching story in Zenless, if you paid attention to the main story, is that thing they found in when you were working with Belobog Heavy Industries, and then you went into you found that thing in, I think it was in Hollow Zero, right? That creature that Coleda's dad found, and then it was that guy who the chubby mayor guy. I forget it. I don't think he's the mayor, but he's like this businessman guy. And then he ran into the Outer Ring, right? That's where we recently just went to find him, right? Because the Sons of Caledon captured him. But basically, that guy was doing dealings with an organization, and that lady, she's part of like that religious cult, and they were like summoning hollows. So it's basically Wise and Bella are trying to go find their master, and prove that their master wasn't the responsible for creating Hollow Zero. And yeah, and that for now that's the overarching story. And then that creature that's like half human, half ethereal or something has to do with the plot too. So it's kind of convoluted. It's like it's not really at the forefront right now, but eventually we're gonna get there, I think. I think what Genshin did is brilliant. Laid out the story path for us to follow. Like we know what nation we will go to after this nation. Yeah. I mean, Genshin's story was. I heard Genshin's story was planned out like years before they even made the game. Like they were working on it long before they started making the actual game. So,
Make it fast. Plan convention, then conquer.
so yeah. I mean, Genshin's story is, and you can tell because when you play it, you know that Genshin's story is. I mean, it's good, right? It's got 5.1 was good, man. I liked it a lot, actually. And I gotta roll this thing. All right. Just roll crit damage. Okay, nope. Whatever. So I'm waiting for. I put up a Discord. I have a Discord. Someone wanted me to make a Discord. I thought, okay, might as well. I think this is the link here. I'm gonna post that.
The moment at
Hopefully
hand.
that works. I don't know.
This very moment.
Yeah, Ta asked me to make a Discord, but I still need to get some more stuff for my PC. I need a headset, man, because Yeah, right now I'm using a podcast mic, and I never understood why streamers needed headsets, but I get it now, because otherwise you can't even listen to anything without if you're just using a decent microphone. So, all right, I'm gonna try and load. Okay, I'm done with Wuthering Waves though. I'm gonna try and play Genshin and Zenless Zero on stream, see how it works. Because I usually play it on PS5, but yeah. Alright. There's Discord. Yo. Yeah, I'm gonna get in P-Squeak and whatnot, but let me load up Oil Play here. Alright, we'll start off with Zenless Zero and see how it goes. Just let me put in my controller, because I play ZZZ and Genshin with controllers, so. Oh yeah, what's your native language? Alright, I got my controller in. Is the audio alright? Yeah, well, Hoyoverse does a lot of. They do really well on localization, right? For different languages, which is smart because, you know, if you want a global audience, you're gonna have to not just cater to, you know, your local China or Japan. You want to. I think they do. Yeah, they do. Do they do German? I don't know. But yeah, what language do you use for Hoyo games? Korean? They do Korean. They do Korean, English, Chinese, Japanese, and what else? I'm not sure what else. What do I need to find? I'm trying to
Ready and waiting. Ready for combat. Need some.
If you need help,
Time for some hard.
Only the.
How can I? Time
I'm
for
only leveling them up.
Don't look at me.
I'm leveling corn up because I just want the free pull. I'm trying to get my standard 300 selector. So my other characters are already built though, so I don't have to worry about building anyone because I can already clear the content. But yeah, I'm gonna what's it called? Let's see if I can get.
nothing beats caffeine on a lazy afternoon. Want some?
Bonus. There we go. Well, they support Vietnamese. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
You know, coffee is not a must, but a calm and relaxed mindset sure is.
I know. There's a lot of Filipino players that play Hoyo games. It's big in Asia. Nice that the polyphone Discord. Really want to hold. I don't know why this happens, but like randomly you do stuff and then you just have like an encounter with an character. But I already have her max friendship, so I don't know why it does this. I already have her max friendship. So one of the most annoying things about Zenless is you have to. I'll show you when you're farming stuff at the HIA place. It like boots you out because it's like nighttime. It rotates the nighttime. Oh, I got 56. Did I get that? No, I got it. Yeah, Internet 56. What's the next level? Yeah, it's gonna take forever to get level 60, by the way. It's the same as Genshin. Like, I remember Genshin, it took like a year and a half to get from going from 55 to 60 adventure rank. And in Xenophon Zero, it looks like it's gonna be the same thing. Like, it's gonna take a year because it's 180,000 from 56 to 57. So yeah, it's gonna take forever. Yep. All right, let's do HIA Club. Yeah, I mean Zenless is a pretty good side game. What's this? Is there something new? Oh, it's because I'm on PC. It's just saying everything's new, but it's not. Okay. Use my fire team. Yeah, I remember it took me so long to
Take me a spot!
Target confirmed.
It's my turn! I can take him! Take me a spot! You should refuel for me.
Copy that.
I can take him!
I don't have a headset, so it's like that's how I'm used to dodging, is listening to the sound. Alright, good enough. 6 and 8. Look, I don't need that much. Yeah, I'll show you my Genshin account. My Genshin account is, I've pretty much done everything possible in Genshin. Which is, yeah, I mean, there's not much left for me to do in the game. I'm missing some, like, hidden achievements, but, okay, so I just need to do one. Okay, let me change the audio settings. Sorry about that.
I'm here! Proceeding as ordered.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta change the audio. Same, I literally maxed out everything, 100% of all regions, achievements, mostly all of them, and beating all content. I have 1,207 achievements, but I heard you can get to like 1,300 now. How many do you have? Do you have like the hidden achievements and stuff? Because I don't really have a lot of hidden achievements. So let me change the audio settings though. Let's go with 5, I guess. I don't know. How is that better? I guess I should get in combat. I went to 5, so. Who do I main in Genshin? I used to main Eula. Believe it or not, I mean, but she's fallen off so hard that I just can't. I can't beat certain content with Eula anymore. So, eventually, and then when Daya came out, I played Daya, and I used Hyper Carry Daya to clear Abyss, and it was working. Like, I was getting 36 stars. Like, I know Daya's not super strong, but you know, I just like her as a character. And then I moved on to Clorinde. I really like Clorinde, so I triple crowned her. And yeah, but I use pretty much every character I can against them. So I don't know. I used to, but not anymore really.
You should be fuel, Bernie.
But no, like if I like the character a lot, I'll just triple crown her. So.
I'm here!
So yeah, like I only have Eula, Daya,
Not even
and
close.
Clorinde.
I'm making
The
play.
Is the game audio better now, though? I turned it down halfway to like half. Okay, cool. Audio's better now. 1.3k achievements. Yeah, so you have a lot of like hidden achievements, right? So even though I main Ayaka, but I use Raiden like 99% of Abyss content. Yeah, honestly, I hadn't been using Raiden for a long time, but the recent combat event, I could only clear it with Raiden. I couldn't beat it with Clorinde. Because she kept getting interrupted. Like, the best thing about Raiden, in my opinion, the best thing about her is her anti-interruption. Like, she has 100%, she can't be a super armor, whatever it's called. Like, she can't be interrupted. So that's the best thing about Raiden.
Ready and waiting.
I shall follow.
Need some.
A mission.
Let's start.
Okay, not
I
time for
Because you can just like
need help-
stand
nothing
there
to-
and heal through it.
Need
You
something?
can take the
Officer
damage and heal
148,
through it,
Juyuan, ready.
and keep dishing out damage on
Nothing to
Raiden.
fear.
And you won't get interrupted.
at-
Officer
So
148.
Need.
A mission.
I.
Okay,
that's
not
how
time for.
the new combat event is pretty good actually. They finally added something like you have to sit there and figure out how to, at least for my account. I mean, I'm sure whale accounts just breeze through it. Alright, so do you have to do anything else?
I'm sorry.
Oh, let's do 10 roll on the bang banner. And I've kind of been unlucky in the Bandy banner. Yeah, I've always had to like go to hard pity for the Bandy banner, which kind of sucks, but. Alright, I think we're done with Zenith. For now. Is there anything else? Any events? It's well done. Yes, I did. Let's join me. I still have to do Bernice's story. I didn't do that yet. Probably do that tomorrow. And then there's the patch coming Tuesday or whatever. Alright, let's go over to Genshin, because I'm done with Zenless for now. There's not much to do in Zenless, but... Yeah, Raiden has so many teams too. She has Overload, Quick Bloom, Hyper Bloom, and Aggravate. Yeah, she has so many teams now too. Alright, let's get out of here. I'll probably have to adjust the Genshin volume too. But yeah, like, oh well, the only character I don't have built is Aloy. Because honestly, man, I was kind of upset with the Aloy thing because Genshin could do more collaborations with different games, but they won't, right? Because the only reason they had Aloy is because Sony wanted it. And then Aloy was just such a weak character that it's like, she's just gonna be my like go-to character that I put artifacts on for like upcoming characters and whatnot. So, but everyone else I have built, and they're all 999 talents. It's crazy. But like, I don't really farm artifacts. Like, I don't grind out artifacts hard for certain characters. I mean, I have been for the Natlan, the new Natlan set, but not as much as I should be. I should be farming artifacts more, honestly. Oh yeah, I have to do the freaking TCG nonsense. But the only reason I do the TCG is because I just want to collect the cards. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of okay, but yeah, I play Magic the Gathering, so it's like I have my standard for trading card games is a little bit on the high side. Okay.
Ad Astra
So
Abyss.
this team sucks, but this is my friendship team. I'm just farming friendship. I'm not actually like I'm not but this team is actually garbage because I didn't have Tighnari, and when I was pulling for Kaniche, I got Tighnari. So I just built Tighnari, and I'm farming him for friendship. So like, but this team is trash because Zelonin needs at least 2 elements that are not Dendro, right, or Dendro Geo Animal. And then I use Dea, but like the regular team would be, what's it called, Farina, or I'd put Shangling or whatever. I take out Tighnari, but I only do it for friendship right now. So actually, let's do what is it? Let's do that. Let's do combat event. 144. All right. Yo, Charlie, what's up? I'm able to play Genshin and ZZZ on my computer now, so I decided I will try a test stream. But yeah, I don't know, what's this? I think I've done this before. The loading is not that great because I'm running both Koyo games off
Bring it!
an external hard drive, which I'm surprised it works. Okay, so this is the I've done this before. I wonder if there's a hidden achievement for this. I think there is, right? You have to tell him to go take pictures at different places. Oh, okay, the people of the springs. Alright, whatever. Are there hidden achievements for the Natalie commissions though? Is there? You said you do all of them, right? I'm assuming there isn't hidden achievements for the Natalie commissions, so I don't know. That's the only reason I have it set to Natalie's, because I want to get the hidden achievements for the commissions, right? Otherwise, I'd go back to Inazuma, because I'm still trying to get the fourth commission for what is it called? The Art to be Honed, so I can get Battle of Revenge. I don't know. It's crazy, anyways. I don't like the daily hidden achievements for Genshin. It's just yeah, I mean that's a big one. I don't want to get into it right now. Okay. Well, I basically did it because I used the 400 encounter points. It's big.
You might want to get
Ad Astra. Thank you for
But okay, this is mail. Event ending. Yeah, I'll farm some artifacts and then I'll show you my account. Because I have to do the crystal block thing. I don't really want to, but I don't know why I do this because I think I have 1,000. How many crystal flies do I have? Almost 1,500. I don't really need crystal flies. I think berries are the best.
Hear the echoes of the valley!
Oh, how's the audio? Is Genshin too loud? Maybe Genshin's too loud, I don't know.
and shroud.
Yeah, we need talent books, EXP and more, so berries are the best. Farm artifacts. Yeah, time-gated achievements. I mean, I don't know. I mean, especially when it's like daily RNG, you have to, you just have to pray and hope that you're gonna get the achievement. It's like, or you're gonna get the right quest. It's like, oh man, it drove me crazy setting my commissions to Inazuma for 2 years, and I just gave up at one point. I'm like, I'm just tired of this. I don't want to wait anymore. But I mean, most people don't care because they like I said. I mean, I have 1,208 achievements, but most people don't care because they don't really go for achievements or collection stuff. Like, I play Genshin as a collection game, right? Because early on in Genshin, when it first came out, I was already playing a hardcore. I was hardcore raiding in an MMO. So, when Genshin came out, I was like, oh, I just want to play a casual game. So whenever, you know, like a lot of people were upset that Genshin didn't become a hardcore game, I wanted a casual game because I just wanted to escape the MMO raiding scene because it was just way too hardcore. I was doing like week 1 clears, like we were raiding like 4 or 5 hours a day, and yeah, I just didn't want to do it anymore. So, and then I decided I'm gonna make Genshin my collection game. So yeah, I mean, but I don't like hidden achievements because it's like I don't want to look it up. So if it's an obvious achievement, I'll just go for it. But like I don't want to like sift through, you know, Wikipedia's looking for hidden achievements. It's like, yeah, I don't really want to deal with that. But yeah, I have to farm. Actually, should I farm? Okay, I pre-farmed for Chaska. Because I am getting Chaska. I like Chaska. A lot of people don't like her, but I pre-farmed for her. And I think she uses Conflict. Now, how do I know she uses Conflict? I don't know. You tell me. That's a secret. I had a dream. She uses Conflict as her talent book. So I think... No, I'll just farm artifacts today. Because Chaska's not coming out for a while. I have a channel that shows a guide to how to get all the achievements. Yeah, you're skipping 5.2. Yeah, I think a lot of people are skipping 5.2. Auroron is going to be popular in Japan, but even Chaska's not that popular in Japan. And then they hate her out west. I don't know. I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of characters in Genshin that are like super popular that I don't like, so I get it, I guess. Like, I don't have Neuvillette because, like, I like him as a character in the story and the lore and stuff like that, but Neuvillette, he's just... His playstyle of, like, the power wash water gun, at first it was kind of like unique to Genshin. It was kind of like something different, but then when I realized Neuvillette is just way too strong, I was like, okay, I'm not really interested because it kind of... I think Neuvillette is way too strong. Just I'm not really...
Target acquired.
Like Neuvillette as a character, otherwise, like that. I don't want the game to be like...
I'll uproot you!
The game's too easy already, so it's like, why do I need to do that? Like, basically, that's what that's for me, it's like... I don't really need Neuvillette, so... How do I know? I had a dream. Yeah, Auroron. Well, I don't know. I don't know why people don't like Auroron. I think he looks pretty good. I heard Ashikai say Auroron looks like a Final Fantasy character, so I guess people don't like how Final Fantasy characters look. I mean, they do in Japan, I guess.
Let's get it on! Shadow of the past, mine to command.
Yeah,
I got him cornered.
I like the character in the story. Kind of, kind of like this loner kid or whatever. But yeah, I heard, okay, if we're talking about creams, Chaska might be meta as soon as Mabuika and Sitlali come out. That's a big cream, okay? People have been talking about it. And apparently Mabuika, Sitlali is like a super huge team buffer, and because she's cryo, she's gonna work with Chaska, and then Mabuika's gonna work with Chaska, obviously, because Mabuika will just work with every Natlan character. But Chaska apparently might be meta as soon as we get the other characters.
I hear everything.
I'd love to see it. I'm not sure. The only reason I was
One with the force.
Buckle up! Bring it!
Mabuika's 5.3, I have guarantees to goodbye Chaska. Because I don't like bow users. Yeah, I mean, if you saw her, she doesn't really use her bow. I wish that was attack percent. But of course not. Yeah, she power creeps a lot of people. Her exploration is...
Let's get it on!
Yeah.
Let's nip that in the bud. For the Lord of the Night. Target acquired.
But I have enough friends with Chaska and Mabuika. I've heard Mabuika is, crazy stuff as well. The rumors were true about the motorbike stuff. I don't know how it's going on, but that'd be interesting if it was. I guess we'll find out soon enough. In a couple weeks. But yeah, I wish there was a little bit of crit rate, but I guess I could use that. I still have to craft, I guess I'll craft a time piece. I'll wait until... crafting an artifact, I think wait until the end of the patch.
You're dead meat!
So we're gonna farm artifacts.
Playtime's over.
I hear everything. Keep up.
So waiting for the end of the patch. So I'm waiting till the end of the patch to craft mine. Damn, that's like identical to what I just got. Okay. So I was thinking if I do start streaming more often, then I'll probably do it around this time.
Can't see?
Early afternoon.
Bring it!
And then I'll cross around.
Bow before your king!
I feel like that's when I'll work on videos later. There's also other streamers that get on and stuff like that too. Like the major Genshin streamers and gacha streamers like Bob. I don't know. And then Red New gets on late at night, so I don't want to stream when he streams either. So. Okay, I'll change the audio again. I probably have to turn it down to half or something. Alright. Alright, let me get into combat and tell me if the
Alright.
audio's good. Alright,
Alright,
the audio
let's
good
finish
now?
this. Get it on!
Still too loud.
Let's nip that in the bud.
Alright.
I got him cornered. This was That was quick.
Honestly, Kenichi's pretty good. Like, my artifacts on Kenichi are pretty bad, and he's still doing decent damage. Like, look at my ratio; it's pretty terrible. 58, 179. It's garbage. I haven't really farmed enough artifacts, and I haven't gotten lucky. I crafted a Dendro artifact for him. I turned it to half volume on Genshin itself. Is that better though? I'm not sure. Maybe I can lower it a little bit more. I'll turn it to 4.
10
How is
points
it
for
now?
agility.
Bring it!
Talking, fighting,
Look alive! You asked for it!
better. Still a bit loud. Alright, let me... I'll turn it down to 2. Is that, maybe that's a bit low? How is it now?
Oh, glory!
Yo, what's up, Cookie?
Your soul is sacrifice.
Is this really necessary?
How's the volume now? Good? Testing. Alright, 2 sound. Alright, I'll leave it at 2.
Alright.
Or I guess Genshin is just really loud then. Okay. Okay, so what was I gonna do? There's the event. Okay, we'll leave it at 2 for now. Like I said, I still need a headset. I have to go out the next couple days. I gotta buy a headset, and then I gotta buy an adapter, like a USB adapter. And once I have the headset, it'll be a lot better, so I can test the audio myself. And then yeah. But okay. So friendship. Yeah, friendship. I don't like farming friendship. I've been doing it too much. Kenichi is almost 10. Tainari. I didn't plan on getting Tainari because I lost 50-50 and I never had him until recently. So, all right, my account. Every single character has 999 talents minimum. So not every single character is crowned, but Dea has triple crown because I like Dea. She's C3. And you know, I put a crown on Jelonin, but yeah, the triple crown characters I have are Dea, Eula, and Clorind. I accidentally got Ito while pulling for I just wanted one copy of Kuki Shinobu when she first came out, and I accidentally got Ito. So, which is funny is because later on when I was pulling for Wander's weapon, I accidentally got Ito's weapon. So Ito's weapon and Ito himself were a total accident on my account. Like, I did not pull for him at all. I was just pulling for the 4-star and then Wander's weapon. So yeah, and he's poorly built on my account. Like, I don't use him at all, really. If Zhongli I wanted. I use one crown on every Archon at least. Yeah, so Mavuika will get a crown for sure. Maybe she'll get more. I wanted Jan Yun. I just like her as a character. I got her weapon too. Honestly, she's one of the hottest characters in Genshin, in my opinion. I like Jan Yun a lot. Haven't been using her because I've just been using Navan characters, obviously. But yeah, I like her. She works with my Xiao, Diluc, and then she just enables plunge teams. She's good with Farina. Yep, and then I got Wanderer. Because, I don't know, I just wanted Scaramouche. And hopefully I crowned him correctly. Kazuha I double crowned. Now, my Kazuha has some pretty cracked artifacts. So I used Favonius on him. But he only has a 50% crit ratio. And it works because my Favonius is R5 and Kazuha does like, all he needs is like a couple crits and he does a lot of instances of swirl damage. So, well, swirl doesn't, I don't think swirl crits itself, but like his damage should crit, right? And so I use Favonius on him, but I do not use crit. The crit ratio I have on the stats here, Elemental Mastery main stats, are crazy. Like I have 10 crit here with 14 crit damage. I have 27 crit damage with 3 crit rate. Okay, it's not that great, but still, it's an EM cup on set VV. And then I have an Elemental Mastery timepiece on set with decent crit ratio. And then I use this for the EM. It's a high Elemental Mastery, but it also has crit rate for my Favonius so that I can trigger it. And then this isn't that great, but I use it for the crit, right? So I use the crit rate so that he has a decent ratio. He has 49%, and I use it for the Favonius sword because I didn't want his weapon, and I prefer using Favonius on him anyway. And then Zhao, I have the spear. Zhao is like okay. His artifacts are not that great, honestly. But anyways, yeah. 999 talents. Everyone's 999, even the 4 stars. Venti I don't use anymore. Yeah, no one. Does anyone use Venti anymore? I don't know. Yeah, Fate just gave me Ito. Like also Tartaglia. I didn't even roll for him. I was rolling for Rosaria, and I got Tartaglia. I did pull for Risley. I pulled C1 R1. Risley. Anyway, everyone calls him Risley. But I've cleared a lot of abysses with it. Like he's got pretty good stats here. 41, 244 with Marshal Hunter. And yeah, I mean Risley's pretty good. I've cleared a decent amount of abysses with him. Yeah, I mean this is my account. I can show you my character archive. Where is it? Character archive. Okay, well these are the characters I don't have. I don't have Siegeween. Didn't pull for Sethos, Chiori. I do want Emily eventually, but I don't know when. Nuvalet I'm not gonna get. I didn't pull for Navia. Kaveh I still don't have. I didn't get Alhaitham, Yilu. I pre-farmed for Shenhe whenever she comes back. Maybe I'll get her, hopefully. No Kokomi, Yoimiya, Ayaka, no Albedo, and then I have everyone else. But I got Amber on 9/27/2020, so this is a veteran account. I've been playing proof that I've been playing Genshin since day one. So, but yeah, like I have. Look, I even crowned. Okay, you're gonna be upset at this. Where is that guy? Everyone hates this guy. I crowned Mika. Okay, I crowned Mika's skill and Mika's C6 with an R5 Favonius Lance. And the reason why is because I use Mika with my Eula team. Where is it? Here we go. This is my Eula team. And because I C6 Bennett, so I can't use Bennett with Eula anymore. Alright, take it easy, Divine Sand. Yeah, and so yeah, I use Mika with my Eula, and I triple crown Eula. I got her weapon when this is before they added the fate points in the weapon banner. Yeah, they didn't do that till later. I forget when they added the fate points. So I had to luck out and get her weapon on the weapon banner, and I did. I got it the first ever time she ran. And my Eula's got a pretty good ratio here. 76, 187. But her energy recharge is terrible. I need better pieces for that, but I'm not going to farm more. She fell off, right? She's not good enough. So, unfortunate. I mean, she wasn't really ever that great, let's be honest. But it's hard to like clear some content with Eula nowadays. And then Clorand, this is my Clorand team. I use Baiju. Sometimes I'll use Yao Yao. Yeah, I like Clorand. I like her character design a lot, man. Like a swashbuckling sword user with a pistol. That's
Into
like
the shadows.
this is like Final Fantasy Red Mage type stuff, but like you have a pistol. Yeah, I really like Clorand as a character, and her story quest was great too. Like it's unique, and yeah, I won't flex more on my account, but pretty much
Created another unit.
I've done everything in Genshin though, so it's like there's not much for me to do. Like I literally have no quests left to do in Genshin. So I've completed every single hangout. Every single hangout is complete. Every single story quest and tribal quest is complete. Yeah, there's no story quests. All reputation is done.
Created another unit.
I have 100% on every single map in every region. 100% here and all in the desert. Right? So it's like I don't have anything left to do in Genshin, okay? Except for like dailies and weeklies. Oh, and I could do Imaginary Theater, I guess. Just reset. But I'm gonna do the events.
And founded Paradise.
And yeah, I didn't finish the second one too, but yeah, let's go to this and do this. I saw someone do it though, so I kind of cheated. You just use burning to use Kaniche burning team. All right. Let's see. Oops. Okay. I guess I could use Shangling and use Daya too. Yeah, Charlie, I read your comment, your second comment, which is really long too. And I don't know. I just I think a lot of people think that I'm too hard. Like you're saying, I'm too hard on Wuthering Waves, and I don't know. I just am I too hard on Wuthering Waves? I've been asking myself that. I'm like, I don't really think so. I'm just calling it out how I see it. The latest Sensor Tower thing, right? With people were talking about Sensor Tower. Well, Saint made the video, right? And but before all that, like people were like Sensor Tower, they were kind of legitimizing it, honestly. I mean, no one really took it at face value. But until recently, it was like It's like people are worried now that people are taking it too seriously, but I don't know. I gotta read.
Out of the frying pan. Buckle up.
Letting Crave's names echo.
Yeah, 100% of the desert is crazy. The other guy can just
Claim these souls!
might be able to do this.
Your soul inside your dead meat. Forever hold or keep
In a minute, we're
alive.
I got him
so
cornered.
I feel like 100% in the desert is a big achievement, but like a lot of people do not touch the desert.
Let's get it on. Nice and spicy.
So that was back before, like,
Locked on.
the desert came out even before Hawkeye Star Rail was released, right? So, like, a lot of people didn't even have Hawkeye Star Rail to play when the desert was out. So that, I remember Genshin was like the only batch game I was playing back then. So there's like a lot of, I mean, I had a lot of time to be able to explore the desert or whatever. But I didn't. So I need another thing to care. Yeah, I need to apply burning way more. Wait. I want to change teams. Here we go. Alright, I think I'll just use Yao Yao. Because the only reason, I just want to apply burning. So that his shield could drop real fast.
Come on. You wait. You're up. Ready, go.
Shadow of the past.
Top of
Mine
this.
to command.
It's your soul in sacrifice.
Oh wait, so his shield drops.
Speechless. Stay put. That hurt real bad. Yeah. Buckle up.
Target acquired.
Nice and spicy. Go get it, Yugway.
But yeah, I remember way back when Sensor Tower, like everyone was talking about it. I don't remember people being that upset with the Sensor Tower numbers. I mean, I think it's a bit obvious that Wuthering Waves players are leading the charge when it comes to like debunking Sensor Tower. I mean, you could argue that Wuthering Waves makes a lot on PC, and they probably make more than
I got him cornered.
but like mobile revenue is the biggest in all of gaming. It's still mobile, right? So it'd be hard to see that the trend, like the trend downwards. You can see trends, right, with Sensor Tower, but it's not like
Locked on.
but it's not like I don't remember people ever taking Sensor Tower like 100% factual. That was never really the argument, in my opinion. I feel like, I don't know. And now the whole argument is we should not even talk about Sensor Tower ever again. And who's leading the charge on that? It's the Wuthering Waves community. Which is weird because it's like,
Let's get it on.
it kind of just shows that they're really, really over defensive about their game. So it's like, okay, I mean, I don't know. I don't think you're that harsh on Wuwa, considering that you streamed the game quite a few times already. Just you're a bit more Genshin leaning, so people take Wuwa criticism as sort of an attack. Well, the thing is with, okay, I admitted in the podcast I was with P-Squeak, right? We're talking about all the gacha games. We're talking about Zenless, we're talking about HSR, Wuthering Waves, and we're talking about Genshin, right? And I said in the podcast, I'm like, look, I'm not gonna try and hide the fact that I like Genshin Impact, and it's my favorite gacha game, right? But it's the reason why it's my favorite gacha game is more of like an overall type thing. I don't pick out certain things I like about the game in like one aspect. I don't say, well, the combat is like a 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, and then like I focus solely on that. It's because I focus on the overall experience I get from Genshin, right? So, but the thing is, it's not just me. I've noticed that Wuthering Waves players are like really, really overly defensive, and they did it to Mr. Poke. Like for a while back there, Mr. Poke was playing Zenless Zone Zero, and he was really into Zenless Zone Zero. And he admitted on stream, he's like, well, I like Zenless Zone Zero, right? And he said, yeah, I prefer Zenless Zone Zero over Wuthering Waves. And then when that happened, the portion of his community that Wuthering Waves players, they just like constantly were talking trash and like, man, you don't know what you're talking about, and ZZZ is garbage. And it's like, it's particularly the Zenless Zone Zero community that are like, they just get like into a defensive mode every time you talk about their game, and it's like, come on, like that's the point I've been trying to point out, right? It's not just me; it's also like, and I think that's bad for the game as a whole. I think that's bad for Wuthering Waves because you can gatekeep, like gatekeeping. Sorry, gatekeeping is like, I think there's a certain amount of gatekeeping you can do, but when you get like overly defensive and then you like, if someone says that they prefer another gacha game, but while they're still like Wuthering Waves, but you see that it's weird because it's like Wuthering Waves, they never talk crap about Honkai Star Rail because it's just, it feels like Honkai Star Rail and Wuthering Waves are like, there's a community there that it's like, they hate Genshin players and they hate ZZZ. And then they're super overly defensive. So I don't know. That's what I take away from it. Anyway, Charlie said, before Wuwa came out, I never even knew about that revenue graph. And it feels more like people just hopped on it now to excuse dooming on Wuwa, or even as a way to reject genuine feedback at times. Okay, so the thing about the chart is people were using the chart to shit on Genshin, even before Wuthering Waves even existed. Because what happened was Honkai Star Rail started to take over. Honkai Star Rail started to get to top the charts, right? Honkai Star Rail was number 1 for like many months in a row, and Genshin was like dropping down to 2 and 3. And Tectone was like using the chart as like, oh, well, Genshin's dying, Genshin's garbage. Tectone is using the chart. So it's like, and he's the biggest gacha drama creator that there ever was, I guess. But it's like, what I don't get is, yeah, you may not have known about the chart, but the chart, I remember the chart being there back when Genshin was making 200 million a month. And this was like at the height of the pandemic, right? So the chart was always there, honestly. And I just, and it was used against Genshin. And back then, I didn't hear Genshin players say, well, the chart's totally fake and we can't trust the data. And it's like, it's just, but everyone knew that it was an approximation. They never took it 100% at face value. But it did show a trend. And it did show that HSR did beat Genshin at once. And it did, rightfully so, because they had major releases and they were having more quality life updates than Genshin. That's for sure. Like, no one denies
I
that.
got him
But
cornered.
now the conversation shifted to Sensor Tower is 100% fake, and we should not trust it ever again. Don't even talk about it. Don't bring it up. And it just feels like that part of the community is it's being led by the Wuthering Waves sector. Like, they're championing taking down Sensor Tower. And we all know why. It's because... Wait, what the hell? How did I die? But we all know why. Is because it's not showing favorable numbers towards Wuthering Waves, right? And it's like, okay, but... You know... I don't know. I mean... Should we believe... that there's no value in looking at trends? I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, at the end of the day, Sensor Tower numbers don't matter. It matters in a sense that, I mean, Kuro Games already came out and said that they're not worried about the money they make. Like, they're not worried about making super high amounts of cash, right? What's his name? So-Young Lee already said that, you know, you just have to, as long as you're doing well, we're okay, right? But then you have to think, I mean, how much money can they put in on the game? And then, does it, I guess there's an upper limit, right? Like, the game's doing fine. Even if it does 10 million a month, that's crazy good, right? It's not Genshin numbers. Anyway, so let me read. I'm dying here. I was looking at chat, but then I forgot I retried here. Let me try and beat this real quick. But I'm glad they're putting stuff like this in here. You actually have to think about your rotation, like, because the reason why I'm not doing this is because I'm not thinking about my rotation and not planning properly, so at least they're adding stuff like this again. Right, obviously it's not technically as difficult as Wuthering Waves, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't think the combat is, for me, I got used to the combat in Wuthering Waves, but that's a different story. We're talking about the tower. So, but yeah, it's just, I just find it funny that now we're shifting the narrative completely so that we don't have to talk about Sensor Tower ever again. So, I don't know. Anyways, I'll look at chat in a minute. I just have to, let's see if I can beat this. Maybe Daya will show the shield. Probably not.
I got him cornered.
I wonder where Tuh is. Tuh asked me to make the Discord. I made the Discord. Maybe these people are going to...
For the Lord of the Night. Chip target acquired.
I got it. Nice. Alright. Yeah, so Techtone is just drama clickbait in general. But yeah, when some HSR we're also toxic about, that's equally just as problematic. I never really bothered about HSR much though. I watch Techtone daily and he mentions the game at least once a stream. Which game? He talks about Genshin all the time. The weirdest thing about Techtone is that Techtone will talk about Genshin and he hasn't played the game for almost 3 years now. He has not. Keep that in mind. This is the weirdest thing about Techtone, okay? Like, I can acknowledge that Techtone can be entertaining sometimes. Like, he'll do like funny stuff like the when he was like half naked and using the sensor bar and shit like that. That was funny, right? But the thing is with Tectone, yeah, he talks about a lot of drama. But get this, okay? This is why a lot of Genshin players and people are wary about criticism towards Genshin, and why it seems a little bit fishy is because they have people like Tectone, the biggest drama content creator for gacha games, and he talks about Genshin all the time. He hasn't played Genshin as a sit down and play the game for nearly 3 years at the end of Inazuma, okay? And he did play like the Fontaine. He did the Fontaine Archon quest in one stream like a year ago. That's it. So he only played Genshin one stream out of 3 years. Yet he talks about Genshin all the time, which is just weird, man. Like why would I listen to someone he doesn't even play the game? Like I don't really talk about HSR anymore because I don't play HSR anymore. Really, there's not much for me to say about HSR because why I don't play the game, so it's going to be hard for me to know what to even say about it, right? So, and I'm not going to criticize, I don't even criticize HSR. Like, I recognize why people like it and stuff like that. So, but yeah, anyways, that's my Tectone rant. But anyways, generally, when people talk about revenue, it's really just evolving into the general dooming. I don't see many people really being like just interested in for the sake of maybe knowing trends. Okay, well, some people are. They want to know. For me, I will admit that Sensor Tower is like a guilty pleasure. But the reason why I look at Sensor Tower is just to see how a character did. Because that's what in the game I'm playing, I'm like, oh, how did this character do? Did they sell enough? Did they sell a lot? Were they super popular? Right? So when I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, Xilonen, I wasn't expecting Xilonen to sell that much or do as well as she did, right? So so when I look at Sensor Tower, I'm like, oh, okay. And I looked at Bernice, I'm like, I thought Bernice was gonna do better because her music, her trailer has like 4.5 million views or something on it right now, 4.2 million views. So it's like, yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, I mean, and then she didn't sell that much, but honestly, I think right now, why the numbers were so low is because of China. Like China just, I guess they're having like economic troubles, but China spending was on a downtrend. We could see it for the past 3 or 4 months now. So the trend there for China was valuable information because you're like, well, okay, well, you're not seeing a lot of spending in China, so the market could shift, right? Like it could be like, well, I mean, maybe they'll focus more on Western interests or global interests, or they might focus more on Japanese interests because the market there, the spending there didn't go down, right? Obviously, they're not going to do it right away, but I heard China is just trending downward through with the market and spending, you see it on all gacha games, not just specific gacha games, but on all gacha games, China's like not spending as much, right? So it's like, okay, so that's interesting to see. Obviously, it doesn't matter as much as people make it out. Like, I'm not sitting there and saying, well, if Genshin's number 4 or 5 on the chart, then, oh, well, end of service. Like, obviously, that's stupid, right? And Wuthering Waves is not going to go end of service with making $9 million a month. Even if they're making more on PC and whatever, like, obviously, these games aren't going to go end of service, but it's like, it's a guilty pleasure. It is. Honestly, it's like, for me, I like it because it's like, how did Xilonen do? How did Shorekeeper do? How did Bernice do? And then I want to see, my prediction is that Chaska is going to do way less. She's probably going to do, like I said, 25 million, maybe even less than that. Honestly, I was thinking maybe even like, she might even drop up to like 20 million because people are going to they don't want to pull for Chaska because they're going to save up everything for the Pyro Archon, right? So, hey, the rings. Hello, I got I just got back from work. The funniest thing is that he's angry that Mr. Pokey is having fun playing Genshin Impact. Oh yeah, Tectone got upset that Mr. Pokey said that he likes playing Genshin sometimes. Like, that's crazy. It's like, that's, I don't know. It's, yeah, honestly, for a while there, Tectone wasn't around. Like, he was kind of, wait, what is this? Hold on. Let me read the other comments. So, though in that case, official numbers are generally just better and more accurate, games like Tower of Fantasy, as an example, are basically oftentimes wrong by a factor of 12 times. Yeah, well, Tower of Fantasy is interesting because can you even play it on mobile? I always thought Tower of Fantasy was like more of an MMO RPG and less of a gacha. Right? Like, I think most people play it on PC. And then, can you even play Tower of Fantasy on mobile? I don't even think I've seen one person play Tower of Fantasy on mobile. But maybe the reason why it still makes money on mobile is because the people who got into Tower of Fantasy and they just top up on mobile, but they don't actually play on mobile. I don't know. Well, I have to see that, but official numbers are just more accurate. Games like Tower, yeah. I mean, yeah. I wonder what Gatio says about the Sensor Tower charts in regards to Tower of Fantasy. Maybe he knows more about that, because obviously Gatio is kind of like he knows a lot of the Hado Studio staff, right? And apparently Hado Studio has enough money to make another game, which is Neverness to Everness. Let me see what is this? Vaporize 10 times. The active character's normal charge attacks increase. Okay, so vape. And who we can use here? You know what I could do? I could use I could go with the classic Team Comp. I'm gonna use Rational. How do I set it up? I think I do Jiangling first. But yeah, I don't look at Sensor Tower and like take it too seriously. Obviously, I mean, the only time you should take Sensor Tower seriously is when the game you play and spend money on and invest in is at the very, very bottom of the list. If your game is at the very, very bottom of the Sensor Tower list, then there's a good chance that it probably is going to go end of service like relatively soon, because we've seen it happen. Like, I'm talking like the bottom 5 games, the bottom 10 games. Sensor Tower
Let me leave you a verse. Know my sword.
shows that trend is still a thing, right? So
Inazuma shines eternal. Shine down.
those are going to be too easy, man. Rational.
Rain cutter. Everybody stand back. Rain outlines your fate.
Eat this!
That was stupid. But yeah, like,
Illusion shattered.
none of these games are going to go end of
Power
service.
for what?
Looking at,
Light it up.
like I said, I didn't think Shorekeeper was going to... People were saying Shorekeeper is like going to make gangbusters. I'm
Torn
like,
to oblivion.
I don't know about that. I mean, she's okay, but it's not like...
There is no escape.
Healer characters don't really do well in most games. Like, that's not really... It depends, right?
Rain
Like,
outlines your fate.
which is kind of weird, because
May
you
my
could say, well,
final stand.
Shimonen did very well. She's not really a healer, she's kind of like a support fucker. So, which Shorekeeper is too, right? Storekeeper's not
Light it up!
support buffer. So
Now you shall perish!
I'll rechat in a second.
Adventure time! Adventure time! Everybody stand back! Let's
fat
witness the
ass.
power of the rock! No, my sword!
Alright.
There is no escape! Illusion shattered! Teamwork is dreamwork! Let me weave you a verse. Torn to oblivion! There is
I was 1 second away? Okay, whatever. I think it also has PlayStation release. 12 times difference generally is still rather major, even accounting for PC and PS. Well, what is Tower of Fantasy is also on PlayStation, yeah. I don't know how well it does on PlayStation because like there's some games that do better on console, but like factoring in the console, it's kind of difficult because like mobile is the biggest market for these type of games, right? Gacha games. And it's shifting, right? These games are becoming less gacha games and more like games that people play, and they're not really they're actual games and not just like PNG collectors like a lot of old gacha games are, right? And they're like kind of like weird puzzle games, but I mean Zenless Zero did well on console. I know that because it was like topping the charts in PlayStation Japan. So Zenless Zero number, you could say, well, it's probably not as low as it is. And yeah, like I said, I mean, but then you have to factor in like if Genshin and Star Rail did that well on Apple Store or whatever, iOS, then they also did really well on console, PC, and Android too. They must have, right? Like, I don't think the majority of the player base for like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin is just on iOS. iOS just shows a portion of that player base, right? Gathio often checks Chinese earnings sites, and
everybody stand back!
this monthly coincides with Sensor Tower. Yeah, I know there's those Chinese earnings sites, and then you can do the currency.
Let's light it up!
What's it called, conversion, and it usually coincides with Sensor Tower. So
Inazuma shines eternal! Teamwork is dreamwork!
how's the game going?
This is just my...
Sad on Bennett. Bennett got crushed. I won't say that Magu Kenki gave me a hard time in this event. Magu Kenki in this event didn't give you a hard time? Is that what you're saying? Because with Magu Kenki, I had to retry a bunch of times because I just wasn't using the right team. Like, I tried using Chlorani with Aggravate, and it wasn't working. She gets interrupted. So I had to use Raiden instead of Chlorani.
Torn to oblivion! Teamwork is dreamwork! Let's ring cutter! There is no escape!
Nice and spicy.
Rain outlines your fate! No, my
That's
sword!
audience. And that's the Bennett circle. Dang Li mentions choosing energy hog. Honestly, there was a debate going on in Zaios' Xanax's chat recently that people were saying that Yang Ling is not as great as people are making her out to be, because, and honestly, I sort of agree. I mean, I'm not really hardcore into meta, but I mean, I recognize if the character's strong or not. But Yang Ling, she's just an energy hog, and she just exudes so much energy. And a lot of people forget to tell newer players to the game that Yang Ling is not that good pre-C4. Like, before C4, Yang Ling is not that good. Her Pyronado barely lasts that long before C4. It's like, she's not that great. Anyways, it's like, Yang Ling has been a thing. It's crazy how we were talking about Yang Ling 4 years later. Come on, man.
Inazuma shines eternal. Illusion shattered. Rain outlines your face.
I don't think I'm gonna do this, because I don't have my ult for good now.
Teamwork is strict. Rain cutter.
I was right, Pip.
There is no escape. Torn to oblivion.
Okay, I got it. Alright. I think Genshin was first in revenue on PS in few regions, beating even Call of Duty BO6, what is that? And ZZZ wasn't far behind too.
I
Gave me a hard
created
time in
another
this
universe and founded paradise.
Oh, that's
But
alright.
I,
Yeah.
Fischl,
Yeah,
and
the first Magu Kenki one was actually pretty... I wish they would do that for more Genshin bosses. Like, obviously, I feel like those Magu Kenki attacked more often too. Like, I felt like they were attacking more than usual, which I think is it's a good thing. Like, it wasn't... They should make fights like that in Genshin, in the Abyss too. But I think a lot of people get upset because it's probably too hard for the regular player. All right, beat it. Yeah, Genshin. I think it does well. I mean, I play on console. That's where I first started playing Genshin. Was on PlayStation 4 because I didn't have a PC when Genshin first came out. Like, I had an old PC that I got rid of, and then in between Genshin coming out, I just had my phone and a PlayStation 4. So I was like, okay, well, Genshin's coming out, I'll play on PlayStation. So my account is permanently locked to PlayStation, so I can't even buy... I can't buy anything like Battle Pass and stuff like that if I don't use PlayStation, which kind of sucks, I don't know. But a lot of people play on console, because that's where they started playing, right? So that their account, certain things are locked out of their account, right? Oh, Black Ops 6? Yeah, okay. I didn't know what BO6 was. But in-game or before, I would generally still say that you are often being rather harsh, especially when it comes to many players who just enjoy the game compared to like cult. Well, obviously I'm not talking about people. So the people, I could say the same thing about Genshin though, right? Like, look, the people on Twitter, there's some crazy people on Twitter that I do not want to engage with, because they're, even though they say they're Genshin players, it's like they have these really crazy takes, and I don't really want to engage with them. So, I mean, it's like, I just think, so my thing was, I think it's a mistake to always compare yourself to your competition, like, all the time. And I just see that happening a lot. And, okay, I'll give you an example. You guys know World of Warcraft? or have you any of you played? It's an older MMO now, right? I don't know how young you guys are, but World of Warcraft. Genshin is the World of Warcraft of gacha games, and you have to accept that. Like, people just have to realize that that's the case. And when I say Genshin is the World of Warcraft of gacha games, is because it became this lightning in a bottle breakout success that nobody saw coming, right? Everyone knew that Warcraft 3, and stuff like that back in the day is pretty popular, right? But nobody realized how big World of Warcraft was going to be as an MMORPG, right? So back in 2004, 2005, World of Warcraft was starting to pop off, and there was just so many people starting to get into gaming. Like, there's so many people that played World of Warcraft, they didn't even play a video game before World of Warcraft came out, right? And so when WoW came out back in 2004, 2005, it became this huge success. It defined the standard for MMORPGs, and the years that followed, there was all these MMOs trying to compare themselves to World of Warcraft. So you had every single MMO coming out after WoW came out was like, we're the WoW killer. Like, Rift was like, we're gonna kill WoW, World of Warcraft. And then there was I forget, there was like Asheron's Call 2 or something, and then they were all like, it was just constant comparing to the biggest game in the genre, right? And Genshin Impact was the same thing. It happened during the pandemic, some once in a lifetime type of situation that the world goes through. Like, we never saw the pandemic. Like that thing, like a global pandemic happens like once every 100 years. Okay, the last one was like the flu in the 1920s or whatever, 1918 or something. So the global pandemic happened, and then so it was a once in a lifetime thing. Everyone was locked inside. They all played Genshin Impact. Some people were getting into video games for the first time. Okay, there's some Genshin players that are like 60-year-old, 7-year-old grandmas. Okay, which is crazy. Like, I've heard stories of, there's Genshin players that like there's like these daughters or mothers that have grandmas that are like, they keep up with Genshin, they watch the live streams, and so Genshin became like a worldwide phenomenon, and it broke open the doors for gacha gaming, right? So, but the thing is, in the same situation as World of Warcraft, the mistake is always trying to compare yourself to the biggest game in the genre. What's better is you coexist alongside them. You don't always try and like say, well, this is why Genshin sucks, this is why it's shit, because eventually you're going to upset people more than you try and convince them that Wuthering Waves is a better game, or whatever other game. Like, we already saw Tower of Fantasy try and do it, right? Like, Tower of Fantasy's biggest mistake, well, obviously Tower of Fantasy had a lot of issues as a video game in general, but Tower of Fantasy's, one of their big mistakes was saying and coming out, one of their advertising things was, we're going to kill Genshin, or we're direct competition with Genshin, right? So obviously Wuthering Waves is not doing that, but the community, in a sense, is doing that, because they have a lot of content creators that are constantly comparing Genshin to Wuthering Waves. They're always talking about Genshin, and if you want a game, if you don't want a game to succeed, don't acknowledge it, right? Don't keep talking about Genshin. Don't keep bringing it up like all the time, right? And the better idea is what happened with years down the line, when all these World of Warcraft killers were trying to kill WoW or get a part of the market share, right? And they couldn't, because World of Warcraft was such a big dominant force in that genre. So what happened was, eventually it died down. People realized there's not going to be a World of Warcraft killer there's not going to be a Genshin killer. It's not going to happen. You're not going to take down Genshin by another game, because people are attached to Genshin for a different reason than most people realize. Once people become attached to a game with the characters, the story, the lore, they're invested in their accounts, it matters, okay? And I am working on the sunk cost fallacy video, which people being invested into things, it matters. And you can say that people have sunk cost fallacy, that they've invested money and time and whatever, but that's just a normal thing in life. That's not something to deride. Sunk cost fallacy is when you don't enjoy what you're doing, but you're still doing it out of obligation, right? So people play Genshin and they realize, well, there's not going to be a Genshin killer. It's still, people still want to invest. They're invested in the story. They want to see where it goes. They want to see the next region. Natlan is cool. They want to see Snezhnaya. They want to see Celestia, blah, blah, blah. And they're involved in the story, right? Just like people are involved in World of Warcraft, right? So what happened later down on the line, years after that people realized there's not going to be a World of Warcraft killer, then MMOs started coming out and tried to coexist along with World of Warcraft. And the first MMOs to do that were the ones that stuck around and succeeded, right? So you had Guild Wars 2. They didn't come out and say, we're going to kill World of Warcraft. There's like, okay, well, Guild Wars 2 was like, we're going to offer you a different type of experience. It's going to be free to play. There's not going to be a monthly subscription, or there was buy to play. Guild Wars 2 was buy to play. And then later down the line, you had obviously RuneScape was there, but that's like a different type of game than World of Warcraft. So people, they were invested in RuneScape as well. And then Final Fantasy had their MMO come up with 14. So obviously there was the failure with Final Fantasy 14 and 1.0, but then they had A Realm Reborn, and they just kept working on their own game, and they never talked about World of Warcraft. They made their own game, and they coexisted. Like they had, whenever World of Warcraft was brought up, even by the developer of Final Fantasy 14, they said, we acknowledge that World of Warcraft is a powerhouse in the genre, and we want to coexist. He even wants a collaboration. Right? Obviously, it's going to benefit Final Fantasy 14 more because World of Warcraft is a huge MMO, but that's a side tangent. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to compete all the time. You can coexist. You can coexist. You can share players. You can have people who play Genshin, and they also play Wuthering Waves. You don't have to deride people. Like, there's so many videos out there now. Like, there's the guy Solus. When I saw him, he had 200 subs. He made one video. The video is was like, this is why Genshin Impact is a better game than Wuthering Waves. He gained 900 subs from that one video. Okay, so there's so many people out there saying they're gathering this force of people. It's like, and their whole idea is Genshin sucks, and it's like Wuthering Waves is better, and we have to take down Genshin, and here's why you shouldn't play Genshin anymore. And
we should,
so
take a
what
break
you're
after
doing
all that running
by saying that you can do that, fine, you can do that. But what you're doing is you're alienating
Let's rest
people
here
who
for
want
a
to play
bit.
both games. Because honestly, and I'm going to be honest here, look, I've done all the content in Genshin. I could sit here and like run around and try and find a chest in the world that I haven't opened, or there's nothing really else I can do, because so if I want to play another game, I'll be like, okay, I'll try out Wuthering Waves. But then I look up content for Wuthering Waves because I'm into Wuthering Waves, and then I see all these CCs are like, oh, they're just talking shit about Genshin, but I like Genshin. So they're kind of excluding the people who want to coexist and play both games. Now, what worked, like I said, there's not going to be a Genshin killer, okay? Genshin's not going to die. And people have to realize that you just have to coexist, right? The only thing that can kill Genshin is if they totally upset the player base, the casual player who's invested, and they do something drastically terrible for that player. And they haven't yet. they haven't made like some super crazy horrendous blunder, and they're still giving the casual player what they want, right? So Genshin is the only one that's going to kill itself. And we saw the fall of World of Warcraft because eventually people just got tired of it, and you know, but it's a very direct comparison. Genshin is the World of Warcraft of the gacha game genre. So that's all I can say. I mean, that's my thing. That's my take on it. Is because I'll say it again. You can coexist. You don't have to. You don't have to be directly competing or saying that you're going to take down Genshin, and you're always saying things like why Genshin is shit, and you eventually just alienate people, and in the end it doesn't work out, because even a certain section of the Final Fantasy community would talk shit about World of Warcraft, right? Because I like comparing that. I like comparing Wuthering Waves and Genshin to Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft, because it's the biggest MMO with the second biggest MMO, right? And even though Wuthering Waves is not the second biggest gacha, it's a very big gacha that's not within the Hoyoverse. It's not under Hoyoverse's control, right? So anyways, let me read the comments. Genshin is attacked non-stop by Wuwa HSR fan, and it's all fine. Genshin could never, but when Genshin players try to fight back, it's like Genshin fans are so toxic. Comparisons like my game is better than yours aren't productive, though. I would say comparisons in the sense of discussing features another game could adopt do have a place. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I just noticed, well, first of all, Cookie's comment, I noticed that, I mean, it kind of goes both ways, right? Like, I feel like I don't really see, like, I don't really defend Genshin. I feel like I don't defend Genshin, though. Like, I just say that people are, I mean, I think people are they don't understand why Genshin is as popular as it is, and that's my argument, right? And they're trying to say that Genshin should be a certain way, like a hardcore combat game, but it was never that. And I don't think Genshin was ever supposed to be that, right? I think it was always supposed to be an open world adventure game that had a little bit of combat, right? Like I mean, it had Abyss, and then it had some combat events, but it was mostly like an open world adventure game. So I think people's arguments against Genshin come from a place that's not, they're just not being genuine with their arguments a lot, right? So now, when people are like talking shit about Genshin, I feel like, and there's a lot of misinformation too. It's like Tectone, he constantly talks about Genshin Impact. Like I was saying, Tectone constantly talks about Genshin Impact, but he hasn't played the game in 3 years. So it's like, why? Why would you listen to someone? That's my argument. That's my defense of Genshin, is that if you're listening to people like Tectone or even VXV Fiction, he doesn't even play the game anymore, right? So it's like, and it's been 3 years. So it's like, what the hell, man? It's like, and a lot of these people aren't really understanding what makes Genshin popular. It's a casual game, and it's fine to be a casual game. So, but anyways, comparisons like my game is better than yours. Oh yeah, then one game could adopt features. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's with adopting features, it's a lot harder, because then you're just asking the devs to make the game. You're you're kind of changing the plans for the devs, right? And that's like, to some extent, I feel like the devs should listen to players. I think it should be a 50-50. And I'm pretty sure Genshin hasn't been a 50-50. Genshin has been a... They're not really listening, right? But it's like... now, I mean, they implement things really slowly in Genshin, right? Which a lot of people don't like. Like, they have been adding quality of life. But a lot of people that argue against Genshin's quality of life, they haven't played the game in years, and I can tell. Because a lot of them are saying things like, oh, Genshin doesn't have this, when they added it like a year ago. So you can tell that person hasn't played Genshin in like over 2 years, right? So yeah, like the devs should listen to an extent, but I don't think they should constantly listen to the community, because the community, you have, especially with like a community like Genshin, you have such a big community. Like who are you going to listen to, right? Like, you should, like, are they going to listen to, you know, it's weird, like, people want casual content, and it's like the TCG, okay, the TCG in Genshin, nobody likes it in the West, or even in global, right? Maybe some people like it in Japan, but apparently Chinese players like the TCG in Genshin. So, who are we to say that the TCG shouldn't be focused on when a large part of the CN community apparently likes the TCG? That's what I heard, right? But it's like, who are they going to listen to? And it's a Chinese game, and they're always going to listen to Chinese players first, right? Because that's where most of their money comes from. And we saw that with Nouvellette. The Nouvellette rollback was so fast. They freaked out.
Okay.
They gave us a free temple, and it's like, okay, well, Nouvellette, we have to roll them back because CN players are totally pissed, and they're going to sue us, right? So we know that Hoyoverse and most of these gacha games that are made, whatever region they're made in, that's where the devs are going to listen to, right? So when a lot of Western players are like, well, do this for Genshin, do that for Genshin, I don't know, man. I don't think they're listening because it maybe conflicts with how Chinese players want to play the game too. That's, a lot of people don't talk about that, right? And yeah, anyways, that's why I don't watch DC from Rua, because I feel spat at for playing Genshin Impact. Yeah, I mean, that's another reason what I didn't like about a lot of Honkai Star Rail creators, was that they were always, and it was even, in my opinion, it's even more weird for Honkai Star Rail players to shit on Genshin, because it's Hoyoverse. Like, it's the same company. You're still giving money. Like, when you blow $100 in Honkai Star Rail, you're still giving money to Hoyoverse. So why would you have infighting? That's what I don't get. But yeah, anyways. Especially with many comparisons, people...
Here's how I allocate my energy on a job.
By
70% goes to investigating,
enjoy
10% to
enjoyer of
making
Genshin
a
and
final
want to see
decision,
similar
and the
improvements,
remainder
same the other
for
way around,
execution.
of course. I would say for both fan bases that the overly active online ones are just a toxic mess. You really can't even go to our gacha gaming without people dooming on Wuthering Waves, especially when it's that time. What do you mean that time? Oh, Century Tower time? And for Wuthering Waves, you have the overtly Wuthering Waves better than Genshin crowd on some CCs. Yeah, I mean, they had that Wuthering Waves Game Awards, and the Game Awards was just, it was just the CCs, and every single CC they were known to make videos that they shit on Genshin, and they're like, well, Wuthering Waves is the best. And so who do you think the Game Award is going to go to? It's like, which is another thing about Game Awards. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. I don't know who's going to win GOTY this year. I want it to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. A lot of journalists gave crap to Black Myth Wukong, but anyways, that's another topic. It kind of depends on what specifically you ask for. Some things people, for example, mention is stuff like more unique character animations, but also stuff like Resin Overflow wouldn't be much of a problem to include, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they haven't added resin overflow yet. I'm thinking because they think condensed resin is what people is the answer to, or their answer to resin overflow. So they think condensed resin is it, right? And it's only a day. You only get 26 hours of condensed resin, which is not good because I don't know why they're not adding condensed resin overflow. Like, honestly, I'm not going to sit here and say Genshin's a perfect game. It's certainly not a perfect game, right? But yeah, I mean, for me, it's like resin overflow. I don't even want to overflow resin in Wuthering Waves, even though it wouldn't technically be that bad for my account. But you're still, whenever you overflow, you're always losing wave plates or stamina to some degree, right? It's not like you're always getting the same amount. So, yeah. But also stuff like, okay, I read that. I don't think they've been adding things slowly. Quick study of dev notes since 3.8 up to 5.01 show otherwise. The thing is, people don't get what they want and go with Genshin has no quality of life. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, they're not getting exactly what they want, and what they want is loadouts. They want loadouts specifically, and because they aren't getting loadouts, then they're like, well, there's no quality of life. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I don't think, I mean, loadouts is, yeah, like, I don't want to talk about loadouts. It's just such a...
This realm is truly beginning.
I really don't think they're making loadouts on purpose, because it's just, it's a gotcha thing, right? The reason why there's no loadouts is because they want people to farm more artifacts and be more... They want people to be annoyed with artifacts and relics in Honkai Star Rail, and they want you to farm more because that's their main source of resin refresh. They can't fuck with the resin refresh, okay? Like, look, it costs 800 gems to cap out resin refresh, so they don't want to mess with it, okay? And yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think that's my theory on why they won't add loadouts, but there's other... I can't even think about what I want to see in Genshin is... I mean, what I made that video about was... I don't want the stupid daily thing tied to world quests. And they should add in... They should give us the 10 pull every patch. And they should... what's it called? They should add in the weapons. Oh, I forgot to buy the monthly stuff here. Alright, we'll do some rolls. But they should add in... like Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zero have. Wuthering Waves doesn't have it because you get 100% guaranteed on the standard, and they have a standard weapon banner. So, but they should add in the Wolf's Gravestone and like the Skyward weapons here for Star Glitter. It's like, why haven't they done that? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but it's like these problems are like, yeah, they suck, but I feel like a lot of people conflate problems in Genshin to like, it's the end of the world. That's how they make it out to be. It's like, well, these things aren't in Genshin, so that's it. It's so terrible I can't play it anymore. And it's like, yeah, it sucks, but it's like, is it gonna make me stop playing the game entirely that they don't have the 5-star standard weapons in the Star Glitter shop? Not really. I mean, I don't know, one day I'll get a Wolf's Gravestone, but not soon enough. Okay, let's see if I get anything on standard. I want to watch a video by TGS though, and then I'll probably end stream after that. I want to see what TGS says about the constellation thing. But yeah, I think if I stream more, I'll do around this time, like maybe 2 p.m. EST to like 5, or they'll do a couple of hours, like 3 hours, 2-3 hours to start because I'm not used to streaming, honestly, and my setup is not great for it. So doing like super long streams is like, but I'll try to do more. And then I also got to work on videos because I don't want to, and like editing takes for fucking ever, man. Like that Genshin video took me, that was like 18 hours, 12 hours of work. Okay, please not Kaveh. I don't want Kaveh in my account. I already have C6 call it. Whatever. Alright, yeah, so 2 weeks. Oh, so next Friday we're gonna find out about 5.2. And 2 weeks until the next patch. But I'm done with Genshin for now. So log out. For the CCs living on hate to Genshin, the problem now is not that Genshin doesn't get quality of life, but that it gets it too late. Yeah, that's another thing. It's 4 years too late, right? That's the big excuse. That's the big argument against Genshin is it's 4 years too late, guys. Well, we can't, which is like, okay, I mean, sure, but all right, I'm gonna take a small break and then we're gonna come back. I want to watch this video and see what he says, and because it's interesting, and see if we can take anything away from it. But I'll be right back. I'm gonna take like a small break, 2 or 3 minutes. Oh, and I'll post the Discord link in the description. There's that guy Ta. I don't know if Ta is watching right now, but Ta wanted the Discord. But yeah, we're gonna watch TGS video, and then probably after that I'm gonna end stream, I think. But yeah, anyways, I'll be right back. All right, let me read the chat. A lot of the quality of life features are nice, but also, hold on. A lot of the quality of life features are nice, but also feel too niche, and sometimes are things that really don't take much time to develop. Like what? I don't know. I mean, there's been big quality of life in Genshin. the Abyss resets, I mean, okay, probably didn't take much time to develop, but they added it, which was really, it made Abyss streamlined, like takes way less time. But the thing with Genshin, I think, is, you see, they added the Abyss skip, that you don't have to do you don't have to do floor 9 and 10. And they added that after HSR did. And that makes me think that those type of quality of life things are discussed at Hoyoverse, at what types of things they should implement into their games. Okay? So, because HSR did it, I'm thinking it's because Genshin is an older game. It's harder to rework the code, but also they have a priority list on the content that they have to push out. So because they're making new regions and they're focusing on different things they have to make for upcoming updates in Genshin, which takes a significant amount of work power compared to other gacha games and even HSR, because HSR really isn't developing an open world to explore. Like, they have worlds and stuff, but anyways, what the point is that because that change was in the pipeline and HSR got to it first, because just the priority list, right? So, and Genshin already had a priority list because it was developed before HSR, right? So what happened was those type of certain quality of life, I think, in Genshin and HSR, they have I think they're discussed at Hoyoverse. And that was a telling sign, because the only reason Genshin did it, that we can skip floor 9 and 10, is because HSR did it. And then eventually it came to Genshin, right? So that, and I think that there's just a company-wide quality of life thing that I think we're going to see eventually Genshin get to it. But when, I don't know, and why they aren't doing some things, I don't know. I mean, it's only speculation, but yeah, I think it's just, it could be the coding of the game itself, right? Too. I don't know. Charlie, these things can go against the design philosophy that Genshin does have. What if they just don't want it? Artistic freedom, free game, and blah, blah. Yeah, there could be that too, right? Like, I mean, I don't like the idea. A lot of people were talking about, you know how in Genshin, in the Abyss, you have to do, like on floor 12, you have to do one side first, and then the second side all in succession. But in Honkai Star Rail, as soon as you beat one side of like the last MOC or something, then you don't have to, you can reset on the second side without having to do the first side again. But I don't want that in Genshin. I want there to be, you have to do both sides, right? So that could just be like a choice that they want, right? You don't have to, it could be that they don't want you to be able to just reset on the second half of every floor, right? Because you have to prove yourself in both floors at the same time. So that could be just a choice that they want. I mean, a game can do whatever they want, but players equally can just decide to not play a game when it doesn't really want to improve things many people ask for. Okay, sure. I mean, I mean, that goes for any game though, right? There's not much data to go off, but PlayStation shares some of what it looks like for them on their platform, and it doesn't look like Genshin's bleeding players. Hard to say what the majority wants. Yeah, Genshin might be bleeding spending and not players, right? Because that could happen too. I've definitely spent less on Genshin than I have when I first started playing. Because I bought a lot of gem packs back when the game first started. So I was spending a lot more back then. Like with Raiden, I got her C2, and I spent a lot of money on Raiden's banner when she first came out. But now I don't spend a lot of money on Genshin. I just get the monthly pass and the battle pass mostly. And, you know, for 1 year, back in Sumeru and even in Fontaine, I didn't buy a gem pack. I didn't buy the gem packs at all. So it's like I've been spending less on Genshin. So anyway, so I want to look at this video or watch this video and then see what TGS says. If you guys know the Genshin scientist, go sub to his channel, go like his video. I'll pre-like, maybe I shouldn't. I'll watch first and then I'll like. But yeah, I mean, I don't usually do this, but I just want to take a look at the video, see how this works, do a reaction. React Andy, okay? And then after we watch this, I might look at Neverness to Everness, like find a Neverness to Everness video, and then yeah, I'm gonna not stream too long, maybe for another 40 minutes or so. But yeah, anyways, let's take a look at this and then see what he's saying. It's constellations and 5-star weapons are becoming a problem in Genshin Impact. Okay.
Guys, Genshin Impact has a whaling problem. With this I mean that the benefit signature weapons and constellations give in this game has become so high lately that I'm starting to see it as a huge problem, and I want to talk about it with you. First of all, I will say that this is not something that just started recently. For example, constellations have been very impactful for years now. Initially by giving huge benefits if you unlocked all of them, and later on even just a constellation 1 or 2. Looking at things like Hu Tao's Constellation 1, Kazuha's Constellation 2, Raiden's Constellation 2, it's very noticeable.
So I think Hu Tao Constellation 1, it's like a quality of life constellation, right? It does give damage, but you can also just play her with the jump cancel playstyle. But Constellation, yeah, Kazuha is like 2%, 10%. It's not that much. Well, team damage. That makes a difference. And then C2 for Raiden, yeah. But then I'm guessing he's gonna say that more characters are gonna be like this. But also I feel like their ceiling, like the base on the characters, like just a C0 Kanich or a C0 Mualani does way more damage than other DPS of previous regions. So they lifted the constellations, but they also lifted the floor. You know what I mean? So we'll see what he says.
How investment of that kind has been very relevant in Genshin for a while now. So why am I saying it's a problem 4 years into the game? Simply put, constellations and signature weapons are stronger than ever before, and they also have a statistical design I don't really like. This last point is actually the first one I'd like to elaborate on, with a very clear comparison about weapons in particular. When Hu Tao came out around 3 years ago, she had a signature weapon, Staff of Homa, that was by far the best option on her. This meant people have what is typically.
Well, I wanna say something about. I think it's stupid that Arlecchino's weapon is a scythe, and it has like a cosmetic, like, and you use a spear. If you use any other spear on her, she doesn't have a scythe. So that's kind of dumb, right? So they're adding like cosmetic stuff to weapons now too, which I'm worried. Like in the future, it's like if you don't get a character signature weapon, they're just gonna look lame. Because if you honestly, Arlecchino looks kind of lame if she doesn't have her signature weapon. In my opinion, at least, anyways.
Called Fear.
Hold on.
On missing out, in that they didn't want to miss out on maximizing the output of their Hu Tao. While this is on its own a problem, it was sort of acceptable to Misthiel because of how strong Homa was on every polyarm character. It has a pretty versatile crit damage secondary stat, and it's passive, while clearly favoring Hu Tao by providing HP bonuses and an HP to attack conversion that becomes bigger when the character's HP are below 50%, still worked for all attack and HP scaling characters. For example, it was really good on Xiao, Raiden, Xiangling, and so on. Flash forward to 3 years later, let's take a look at Arlecchino's signature now. In terms of main and secondary stat, not much difference, high base attack and crit rate bonuses. The passive is, however, the problem. The weapon gives 25% worth of Bond of Life.
Yeah, so it's a specific passive, right? But Staff of Homa's passive was kind of not great, even on other characters, because you had to be below 50% HP, right? It's like, and you had to stay below 50% HP, didn't you? But another thing about Staff of Homa is when I rolled on Staff of Homa, I rolled on the first. That was when the Tectone meme, or his big drama thing happened with Staff of Homa. I rolled on that banner. I wanted to get a Wolf's Gravestone. I didn't even want the Staff of Homa, but I ended up getting the Staff of Homa anyways, and I didn't even roll for Hu Tao, and I got her later. But yeah, like they're making very specific passives, which, I mean, it's kind of better now, because before the weapon banner was terrible, but it's kind of better because there's only one fate point now. And a lot of people say, well, it's still not good. And I agree. I mean, what can I say? I mean, Genshin's weapon banner kind of sucks. I'm not going to defend Genshin's weapon banner, okay?
To the holder when they use a charge attack, and also 12% damage bonus tied to it. Additionally, if the character has 30% bond of life or more, so more than the amount the weapon itself gives, the total damage bonus will be increased to 36%. This is meant to favor Arlecchino, because she can generate bond of life for herself, and is something other characters can't typically obtain, excluding very specific situations. Not only that, but the bond of life can be cleared if your character receives healing of its amount. So that means that if you run a healer on the team, you won't even get the first 12% damage bonus through this weapon. As a result, this makes this very recent and supposedly super strong signature weapon a worse general option than Homa, the almost 4 years old weapon. To counterbalance this, it's very, very strong on Arlecchino, towering over 4-star and 5-star options alike by a gap wide enough that you will just feel bad by not getting it. I think I made part of the problem clear here. While in the past, by getting Homa, you were getting a 5-star weapon that will be good on most Polyam characters, whether past or future, by getting...
Okay, so he's arguing that it's basically more character specific, but is that a thing in Wuthering Waves? I feel like, okay, I don't want to compare it to Wuthering Waves, but I'm just thinking like Honkai Star Rail. Let's say Honkai Star Rail. Light cones in Honkai Star Rail were getting very character specific. The last time I played, I remembered it was starting to go that way, at least in Honkai Star Rail. I can't remember, Kafka's light cone was kind of, you could use it on a different nihilities and it still worked. But yeah, like I feel like Hoyoverse does that. They kind of trend towards their weapons. Eventually, like some of them just become very character specific, which, I mean, if you're going to pull for the weapon, you're kind of going to want to use it on that character too, right? Like, but at the same time, it's better to have a weapon that's not too specific so you can use it on different characters. Yeah, so I agree that they're doing that more, but, yeah, I mean...
Getting Crimson Moon, you're getting a weapon that is only exceptional on Arlecchino, and as a result, I think it has less relative value. This is a really widespread problem now, with signature weapons all being much better than 4-star options for the character they're meant for, but at the same time, having effects specific enough that they won't ever be anything more than decent for the other characters. There are a few exceptions here, for example Nuvolette and Brisley's signature, that have passives whose effect activate when the holder's HP increases or decreases. This not only can naturally happen in battle when facing opponents, but it's fully obtainable by just having Furina on the...
Yeah, Furina enabled a lot of those things. She enables a whole artifact set by herself, right? Like Furina enables Marchose Hunter. You don't have to be a Fontaine character. You could be anyone, and she enabled Marchose Hunter. So that was crazy. But let me read the chat here. It's like that, and even worse in HSR. Yeah, I feel like HSR has specific light cones. Like they're just very tied to characters now, and they're really strong too. It's like if you don't have their light cone, they lose a lot of damage. So a big portion of what makes 5-star weapons good in WUWA is mostly the crit and base stat. Yeah, that's the thing. That was the thing about Wuthering Waves, is that the base stats of 5-star weapons are just so much stronger than 4-star weapons And yeah, it's like the attack and then the crit rate and the crit damage and stuff were just way higher. So that's the thing with Wuthering Waves. Nowadays, it feels like you need to pull for E0 R1 on the most recent units. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, and it's honestly with Zhang Li Yao, even in Wuthering Waves, he felt a bit weak without his fists, and I think that they kind of did that with HSR too. Like Dr. Ratio's light cone was pretty good, wasn't it? Like it gave him a really big boost, but Dr. Ratio wasn't that strong of a character. I feel like people, he was okay when he released, but now he's just completely fallen off. I think I haven't played Hawkeye Star in a long time, but the general weapon effects are damage type specific though, excluding some like String Master, who are just good for all. Okay, I have String Master, but I haven't thought about using it on other characters. I mean, mostly because I just use Yinlin. I use Yinlin a lot anyways, so but yeah, I mean, well, with Wriothesley's weapon, I heard that Wriothesley's weapon is better than Wanderer's weapon on Wanderer. That's what I heard. So it's like, so if you had Wanderer, you could just use Wriothesley's weapon. That's what I heard. Maybe TGS will bring it up. But yeah, let's keep watching.
Team, since her elemental skill will continuously drain HP from your team. In general, however, 5-star weapons are very specific now, and combined with the fact that every new signature weapon is so good for their respective character, this also creates a second issue, namely the fact that you might feel bad not pulling for a new character's signature weapon if you compare him to a previous character you pulled the signature for. For example, let's say you have Arlecchino with her signature, and you just pulled for Kinage, but you don't plan to pull for his signature as well. By doing that, not only you're missing out on a potential 30% damage increase on him, but also you might be putting yourself in a situation where you feel like his performance isn't really impressive compared to your higher investment Arlecchino. This was less of a problem in the past, because those signature weapons were just weaker, but also, once again, they just had more versatile passives all around, which made it so that you could use those same 5-star weapons on your new characters for very respectable results. If you're a person that is bothered by this kind of thing, so your new characters not holding a candle compared to your older characters that have their signature weapons, this might put you in this never-ending.
Just speaking of Kinage, I pulled for his weapon. I kind of regret it now, but I don't know, man. I was mostly pulled for Kinage because I wanted C6 Chevreuse, and I predicted that Chevreuse was going to be on the Kinage banner, because now they're putting because Raiden ran alongside Kinage. So they're putting Chevreuse with Raiden now, but I pulled for his weapon, and the thing only has 11% crit rate. But I guess the passive is more valuable on it anyways. And Natlan characters don't really need crit rate, I guess. You could argue that too, but oh man, it's just pulling for weapons in Genshin is still pretty brutal. Like even with the one fate point, it's still brutal. And it just feels bad sometimes. And I'm going to be pulling for Chaska and her weapon too, which I'm probably stupid for doing so, but you know, whatever.
Cycle where you keep pulling for signature weapons for your new characters to shine with. I think this is a very bad development for Genshin, and it's getting worse as time goes on, since Natlan signatures, for example, are stronger than Fontaine signatures so far. This is, of course, even more of a thing with constellations. Constellations are dupes you get for a specific character, so unlike weapons, they're investment layers that are strictly tied to the character you get them for.
The only character that I went hard in on was Raiden, back when she first released, and I bought every single gem pack before the reset. They did the reset on 2.0, right? So I bought a whole bunch of gems before the reset, and then I skipped Yoimiya and Ayaka, and then when Raiden came out, I blew all my gems on her, and then I bought all the gem packs again because they reset. See, I was spending way too much money on Genshin back in the day, but I think everyone was. Like, a lot of people were spending way too much money on Genshin back in the day, And then I'm like, oh yeah, I want Raiden, and I didn't even get her weapon. I just went for C2. So I was using the catch on Raiden for a long time. And then I'm using the new battle pass trident thing. But Raiden C2, yeah, it was huge. It was huge.
Since they're more personal buffs, they impact characters' kit in more diverse ways than weapons do. We've seen all kinds of constellations in the past. Constellations that fix energy issues, constellations that make it easier to satisfy some characters' kit conditions, constellations that give character interruption resistance, and most commonly damage increase constellations. Back in the day, I would say that excluding the Constellation 6, constellations were only situationally good. This was true even for top tier carries such
Zhao's constellation sucks. Well, the thing is, Constellation 1 is good, and then, I mean, he has one of the worst constellations in the game, right? C4. It gives him a bunch of defense, like it's just total garbage. But speaking of, he brought up interruption resistance. In Genshin specifically, I think people undervalue interruption resistance, because when your character is getting knocked around out of their combo or whatever, even if you don't care about the damage they're taking, it just interrupts your combo. You're not doing damage. You have to get up, like your character gets knocked over, right? And that's one of the issues with Klee. Klee sucks because she just gets knocked around like a paper doll, right? So that's why people didn't like playing Klee anymore, right? And she just totally fell off. But interruption, and that's why I think Dehya was a little bit undervalued as a character, is because her interruption resistance is good on a lot of, and I think what they really should have done with Dehya is they should have made her interruption resistance last even longer. Because right now it only lasts like 7 seconds. But even still, like the 7 seconds of interruption resistance on Dehya, it helped so much, like especially with clearing certain abysses. Like I noticed the difference because, and it helps characters like Linny. That's why I advocate for Dehya in certain teams. But anyways, I'm not hardcore into meta, but I feel like just in Genshin specifically, interruption resistance is so good. And that's why Raiden is good too.
as Xiao, Ganyu, Ayaka, and we even had cases like Child that didn't get particularly significant meta benefits even at Constellation 6. Nowadays the situation is much different, because ever since Inazuma came out, Hoyoverse started making more attempts at making early constellations much more impactful. From a mental manipulation perspective, I assume this decision was made to put these very impactful investment layers closer to the player's monetary reach, and as a result make them seem more appealing to go for. But even then, however, it was a situational thing still. Characters like Raiden, Yae, and Nahida had early constellations that definitely made them much more impactful, but we simultaneously also had releases like Itto, Alhaitham, and Baiju that didn't benefit much from their early constellations. It wasn't until Fontaine that Hoyoverse seriously accelerated in this direction and made constellations feel like something you have to go for on a consistent basis. Nouveau Let, Priestley.
Well, I got caught up in because I got Wriothesley's C1, right? Because I was like, I mean, his C1 is just so convenient with how his play kit is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a gacha game. Like a lot of people are forgetting, like they want to entice you to spend money, and I mean, even every gacha game does this, right? And it's like, I feel like people forget this. They forget that it's a gacha game specifically with Genshin for some reason. That's what I feel like. Because like I was saying earlier, is that a lot of people just started playing video games in general with Genshin during the pandemic, right? So Genshin has a large community of just the casual gamers, right? And people who are like new, or people who are new to gacha in general. But they want to entice you. Then it's always been the case, right? And even in Wuthering Waves, or like Wuthering Waves is way more generous. We know that, right? Wuthering Waves gives you more pulls. They give you more 5 stars, right? But still, it's like the characters get significantly stronger the more you get dupes of them, right? So they have good constellations of Wuthering Waves too, right? And it's like, I mean, and I could argue that because Wuthering Waves is itself a more challenging game, and the tower is more challenging in Wuthering Waves. And shocker, yeah, Wuthering Waves combat, certain bosses and certain challenges in Wuthering Waves is harder than Genshin. But because it is harder than Genshin, I think powering up your characters with spending money on them is more enticing. You could argue that, right? You could say, well, because the game is more difficult, then buying power means that it's more enticing to put money into the characters, right? And yeah, you won't have to put as much because you can get a weapon more easily, but then you look at the character constellations, it's like, well, okay, well, if I power up this character, then I won't have to dodge as much in tower, or this Tempest Memphis boss in Wuthering Waves. It's like, yeah, it's a hard fight, but if my characters are cracked, then I don't have to fight that long, right? So yeah, you could say that too, right? But at the end of the day, it's a gacha game. They want to entice you to pull. They want to entice you to put more into the character, obviously, right? Yeah, it sucks because it's pay to win, but I mean, come on, guys, we're playing gacha games. Like, I feel like a lot of people forget this sometimes, but anyways.
Furina, Jianyun, Arlecchino, Clorand, Shiori, and Sigewinne are all 5 stars released in the Fontaine cycle that benefit massively from their first 1 or 2 constellations. Of course, many of these characters are very good at Constellation Zero as well, but that doesn't really make this thing much better in my eyes, especially when said constellations also bring very noticeable gameplay improvements, like Neuvillette, Arlecchino and Clorand's constellations granting interruption resistance, and Furina's Constellation 2 basically removing a reliance on having a team-wide healer on team. Furthermore, the problem is becoming even worse now in Atlan, with Kinich and Molani having damage increase benefits from their constellation.
Oh, Kenichi has that much damage? From 52% from C0 to C2? What the hell? That's crazy, man. I didn't know. Because I looked at his C1 and it says it increases his cannon shot, which is the most of his damage, by 100%. But the multiplier says 1200%. So I'm assuming it would only bring it from 1200% to 1300%. Because that's how it's not going to double that number. I don't think it's going to be 2400%, unless I'm wrong. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy though.
And signature weapon higher than ever before. This is just an insane upgrade and much bigger than almost anything we've seen in the past. As I mentioned earlier, this also exacerbates the issue of new characters feeling much worse than your old characters if they don't have the same level of investment. A Constellation Zero free-to-play Molani is much worse than a Constellation 2 Arlecchino, so if you pulled for the latter, you'll be much more likely to also go for Molani's constellations to match that level of performance. That's just how it goes. I say this because it's a problem that
I slightly disagree with what he just said there. Like, yeah, you want your other characters. Like, if I invested a lot in a certain character, then pulling for a new character at a weaker power level feels bad. But he was saying that that's just the way it goes. But I don't think that's how most people play. Like, the reason why you invest deep into a certain character, in my opinion, is because you like the character. And you like how they play. You like, you may like the character because they're hot, or, their lore, their story, or just their design or whatever. But I don't think people go into, like, the reason why I went into Raiden is because I was like, oh, she's cool. She's the Electro Archon. And it's like, yeah, I want to use her all the time in my teams. So I'm going to get C2 Raiden way back when. That's what I was like, okay, well, but I didn't really do it for power specifically. And I didn't stop using my other units because they were weaker than Raiden. I used Raiden a lot in teams in the Abyss where I could, but I don't think, some people will do that, like Wales. They'll be like, well, if I'm going to get a new character, and I think that's why Mualani didn't sell that well, or she didn't do very well, because a lot of people had Neuvillette right here. Like, a lot of people had Neuvillette already. And specifically Wales, it's like, well, if I already have Neuvillette and he's super busted, why do I need Mualani, right? If I'm a collector, it's like I'll get one copy of Mualani and maybe I'll get her weapon and then I'm out, right? But if, like, Neuvillette is just super overpowered. So I kind of disagree with what he said there. I think people invest in characters they like just because they like that character. It's not because they want to match the power. Maybe some people do that, but I think overall, I think people invest in characters Yeah, because like Fob Master does that too, right? It's like, oh, the character's hot, I like them, so I'm gonna C6 them or whatever. I don't know. It's not necessarily about power, especially with Genshin too, because you don't really need super powerful characters to beat all the content, which is another thing. I think meta is overblown in Genshin, but anyways.
That also applies to myself. I have Constellation 1 and Signature on Neuvillette, Constellation 3 and Signature on Arlecchino. If I pull for new carries, in order for them to compete with these two, even remotely compete, they will need to have a similar level of investment. For supports though, it's a bit different, because for example, let's say you're getting a Constellation 2 Furina, you're getting a performance increase that will affect a lot of characters in your box, because Furina is a character that can fit on a lot of teams, so from that point of view, the investment makes more sense. Anyway, these were just my thoughts, I guess. I don't like how predatory the monetary aspects of Genshin are becoming. Of course, they've always been predatory, it's a gacha game after all, but I think it's worse than ever now, and there is no sign of stopping, unfortunately. And with this, I'm done for today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, and also go check my account review video. Bye bye.
Okay, yeah, he said it, right? But, I mean, is it that bad? I don't think so, because like Knight is strong, right? Knight is strong, Jilorin is strong, it's C0. And hey Lulu, what's up? Cons are simply not needed to clear all endgame content in Genshin. People need to control themselves. Yeah, I mean, you don't need... I haven't pulled for a Constellation since Wriothesley, and I didn't even really need it, honestly. Like, I'm pretty sure, like Wriothesley, and then before that, I think I didn't pull for a Constellation since Raiden. So I accidentally got Lyney to C1 because I was just pulling for Lynette. I was like, oh, I want to get another Lynette copy. And I accidentally got Lyney again. I was stupid because I rarely use Lyney. But anyways, yeah, you don't really need... Like, Genshin is not super difficult to game. You don't need the constellations. I mean, let me read up on the chat. Full-time... I'm not gonna... Okay, so TGS, if you like him, go subscribe, go watch. Like, I mean, it's up to you. I'm not gonna react to videos all the time, but, you know, whatever. Sometimes I want to. It's like that. Even worse than HSR. Let me read this. The general weapon effects, I read that. I mean, String Master is basically going to be good on any future attack scaling rectifier, DPS, especially in Quick Swap. Okay, I mean, like I said, I haven't really tried with using characters. I know Gion's sword was also good on Calcharo, I guess, but it was mostly for the base stats and the crit damage, right? But yeah, I mean, people criticize this on other games too, so I don't think the discussion on paywalls is still important. I would prefer more games like Genshin, Wuwa, etc. to capitalize on skins. Yeah, I mean, League of Legends capitalizes on skins, right? And also, I don't know, how does League of Legends make its money? That's kind of crazy. Like, it's just skins? I don't know. It's hard for me to say, but Genshin's quality has been going up recently. 5.1 Arc Conquest was an example. Yeah, I really like the 5.1 Arc Conquest, but so these tactics are somewhat tolerable. It's not like it's that needed. Yeah, I mean, constellations, they're always going to be there, right? It's going to entice people. It's a gacha game, right? I think people forget that sometimes, right? So, unfortunately, I mean, it's the good thing you can say about these games is that you can clear the content without having to go deep into constellations, right? They could easily make these games where you're forced to pay. I mean, free to play, right? FTP, forced to pay. But if you want to do the content, they make the content like the HP scaling, they could make it even higher, and then you can't even clear the Abyss with 36 stars without going deep into constellations, right? They could do that, but at least they're not doing that, right? And they're not doing that in in a lot of games now, in a lot of gacha games, right? You just have to be smart with, if you're free to play or if you're low spender, you just have to be smart on how you invest in your characters, and you won't have to worry about constellations and stuff like that. Also, you could say the same stuff about how all Withering Waves weapons are not the 5-star signatures, are complete crap. Yeah, I mean, some of the standard 5 stars are okay, like the gun and the sword, because they have crit rate, and that's wise because of the base stats, right? We were talking about that earlier. Is that Charlie said that the Withering Waves, the reason why Withering Waves 5-star weapons are good is mostly because of their base stats and the substats. I do think a problem of Genshin's endgame is that it really is too much of a stat check. Newer players either have to grind for months or spend. It's not hard, but expensive. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really checked because I haven't made a new account. But I remember back when I first played Genshin that it was hard to get 36 stars. My first 36 star took me a really long time in Genshin on the Abyss because it took a long time to grind up and get the proper care, because the Abyss would rotate. So if I built up a team that could take on the Abyss, the 36 stars, and it wasn't consistent, because it's like if I had the team that was good and I built them, but then next Abyss, that team would suck depending on the enemies, right? So then I had to build another team up. So then I couldn't 36 star that rotation of the Abyss. So it was hard in Genshin because it all depended on what the enemies were, and if I didn't have the proper characters built for that rotation cycle. So yeah, I mean, in Genshin, there's sorry, 1 second. God, my throat is dry from talking too much. But there was it all depended on the like stat checks. Genshin's probably a harder grind, but it took me a while to get my first clear in Withering Waves too, 30 stars. But that was because I wasn't going too hard on building up my main characters, and also, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I didn't build, like, there were some towers that it was way too hard to get because they had the bonus for Spectro and Wind, and I didn't have Jian or Jinshi. So, and my damage just fell off. And like they put in like Inferno Rider. Well, my best team was like Pyro, the fire, Chang Li, and that was my best team. So it's like I couldn't do it because the boss resistant to fire was just crazy. And then I wanted to use my Electro team on the other side because they got an Electro damage bonus. So it's just, so Withering Waves does that too with resistances, right? Like enemies resist fire or electric. So, anyways, that's how all gacha games are. Yeah, I feel the same. Lol, they keep forgetting they are playing gacha games and keep asking for systems that always win. Yeah, I mean, I really think a lot of people are just forgetting that it's a gacha game sometimes. And I think it happens more in Genshin because Genshin has a more casual gamer audience, and they don't realize that, hey guys, you're playing a pay-to-win game. It's specifically pay-to-win. I started Genshin around 3.3, got some rather meta teams like C1 Hu Tao, C6 Xing Chou, and general DPS was barely enough for floor 11, even after like 4 months. Okay, so I don't know how, because I did have an account, and I did make a new, like a Genshin account. I had Wanderer, and I eventually pulled for Navia, but I stopped playing it because Genshin is way too much content to make another account on, okay? Like, there's way too much to go through, there's way too many chests to explore. It takes so much time to create a new Genshin account. But I could beat floor 11. I didn't get max stars on floor 11, but I could beat floor 11. And my account was pretty bad. And I did it with Wanderer. But I didn't get max stars. So Tower of Adversity is just not fun to me. Honestly, a lot of people are not happy with the Tower of Adversity having the character usage limit, right? Because in other gacha games they don't have a character usage limit, right? But that's part of the strategy in Wuthering Waves, and that's why they want you to build 3 teams. You need 3 teams because there's a character you can't use the characters over again that many times, right? Which I think it's kind of upset a lot of people, and that was another reason why it took me a while to get my first 30 stars in Tower of Adversity in Wuthering Waves, or whatever they call it, 30. I want to see this. Everness to Everness. New gameplay. When was this? This was they showed off new stuff. That was back in Tokyo Game Show, right? Okay, I'm gonna watch a little bit of this, and then and then we're gonna call it for the day. But this is a test stream so far. I just wanted to see if I could stream Genshin and Zenless 0, and it worked. So, and then it but I have to get a headset, man. Fuck. I just, anyways. So Neverness to Everness was okay. The combat. So I wanted to look at Neverness to Everness. I'm worried about the combat. I think people are not gonna like it. I don't think it looks spectacular. And the character designs. Okay, this is the only cool character I've seen so far. This cat girl, the pink-haired cat girl, in Wuthering Waves, or not, in Neverness to Everness. I haven't seen a lot of the footage actually. I just saw a little bit of it. But I'm gonna be playing this game, covering it, and I'm gonna be playing this. I don't know when it's coming out, but yeah, it's gonna be the next big game, I guess. I mean, the next big gacha game. Because Project Mugen is dead in the water. Project Mugen is vaporware. Okay, so this game's coming out, and I just want to see how it is. Yeah, I meant floor 11 with all stars, but not floor 12. Yeah, I was able to complete floor 11, and then I was even able to like do the first part of floor 12, but at 0 stars or something. But yeah, Genshin it is pretty grindy. Yeah, I pretty much have to solo the first 2 or 3 floors of the side tower to make sure I have enough character uses for the rest of the middle tower. Yep, that's the thing with the tower. It forces you to use for you can't just use the same characters all the time, right? Tower of Adversity, only like 2 good teams or 1 man team. Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I built 1 mediocre team so that I could do. The best is when you do the Tower of Adversity. You do. This looks pretty cool though. I like the city. Man. They really designed a really good city. Anyways, but in Tower of Adversity, you do 1 and 4 as your main team, the strong team, and then you do 2 and 3 as your mediocre team, both sides. So you do 2 and 3, so that's equals 10, right? And you do 1 and 4, then you have 10 for the last one. So that's what I did. But yeah, anyways, decent enough dungeon to basically solo any floor, especially on boss levels. Yeah, I heard Danjon's pretty good. I never really got into it because I just didn't like the playstyle. I know she takes a lot of skill, but I don't know. I was just building. I don't like Danjon as a character design-wise too. It was kind of weird, or kind of plain in my opinion. But see, a lot of people are going to be upset with this, right? Like you're you're running through people and not running them over. There's no like consequences in this world. And everyone's seen this part where you're chasing that thing. But honestly, Neverness to Everness, I think people are gonna be upset with the combat. I think they're gonna compare the combat a lot. They're doing waves, and even Genshin doesn't look as good as you'll see here. I'll see the combat here. You'll never know. I mean, you have to play it first, but it doesn't look that technical. And for some reason, every game wants an Inferno Rider now. Even Zenless Zero has an Inferno Rider. I don't know, maybe Genshin will get Inferno Rider next too, so who knows. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think there's a reaction system here. It's just, kind of looks like Tower of Fantasy, but like a little bit more polished. Tower of Fantasy in combat was pretty sluggish too. I don't like this character, this ripoff. It's sort of, I don't know. This is the only good character design, is Catgirl, pink haired Catgirl. But yeah. We'll see, man. I want to play this game when it comes out, but who knows? I'm not expecting it to like be a huge success. Hopefully, there's just a lot to do in the game. Honestly, I just want a new game right now because I don't have much to do in these other games I'm playing. So, yeah. Ow. The other character, but the character design and combat is doing nothing for me. Makes me feel like casual, more general similar to Genshin. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, casual games do more, they make more money. That's just the reality of the situation, right? Like, that's, like, even if you look at PvP, MMO, the reason why MMOs don't focus solely on PvP is because PvP is more hardcore and it takes more skill than PvP. So, and for the audience that want to play MMOs, it's like they want to be casual players. So I think this game, it looks more casual, but that's the mass audience, right? Like, the more difficult your game is, the more you're going to really want to play it. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And, I mean, in certain sense, games like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and stuff like that, they got popular based on years and years of word of mouth, right? Like, people were just saying, yeah, Dark Souls, Elden Ring is great. And I'm sure a lot of casual people got Elden Ring, and maybe they gave it a try, but it's like, did all of them complete the game? I don't know. Was it too hard for them? Maybe. But, yeah, I saw this part. Anyways, remember this part. I just want to see the city. Like, the driving around looks cool, but what are you doing while driving around? Like, is there a goal to drive around? Is there a reason to? Other than just, like, doing so for the fun of it? I don't know. See, this part is like, this is like, no one would really do this, but it's kind of, they're just kind of showing the interaction between how the cars react to your character or something, but no one's gonna like walk around unless there's like a reason to. You do that in Grand Theft Auto. That's why it's gonna get compared to Grand Theft Auto so much, because going around the city looks good, but it's like, what are the consequences of your actions as you're going around the city, doing the things you're doing, right? Like, are there consequences? Can you, like, break into stores? Can you, I don't know, what kind of missions are you doing, right? That's my big question for Neverness to Everness. What is the meat of the content? Even though it looks good on the surface, it's like, what is the meat of the content, right? Whereas like Genshin, you explore the world, you open chests, you do the story quest, you know, you do events and stuff like that. I'm sure that's going to be the same thing, but so far I haven't seen a treasure chest, and it wouldn't make sense in the city why there would be treasure chests in the city, right? So I don't think there's going to be like opening treasure chests, and I haven't seen puzzles. I haven't seen any puzzles that you can solve in the open world, right? All I've seen is like this stuff, like this casual, customize your car, customize your house, but it's like, what is the meat of the content? And that's the biggest question for anything. That's the biggest question. So anyways, I will play it though when it comes out. Hopefully it comes out soonish, because I want something else to play. But we'll see. Anyways, yeah, so NT feels like, yeah, I don't really feel like there is much of a game identity. Yeah, I mean, that's my issue. Like, what are you doing in the game, right? Except for just running around the city. Because, yeah, anyway, hopefully they explain more. They tailored everything in the game to make some trailer. Yep, I mean, like I said, I mean, the city looks good, man. Like, it looks like a good, it looks like a well-designed open world city, right? But again, what is the meat of the content? What are you doing in the city? Like, is there missions? Are you, if you're exploring, why, right? Because in Genshin, you go around and you collect chests and collectibles like the Oculus, and that nets you more currency. That nets you some XP books and some weapon upgraded items, right? So it's like there's a reason for exploring in Genshin, even though some people don't like exploring Genshin because they think it's boring. But at least there's content to do there. With NTE, I'm not seeing anything. I don't see anything. Like, they're breaking a bunch of boxes here, but why? Like, okay, I understand that they made a good world. There's physics and stuff like that. They're showing that things blow around in the tornado and stuff. But that's great, but what is the content? So anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't seen a puzzle. It's cool that you can drive cars. I haven't seen a treasure chest. And all we've seen is like one boss fight and a couple of enemy fights. So yeah, that's the biggest question for NTE. What is the content you actually do? Okay, so that's it. I won't ramble on about it. I said the same thing we were talking about, but it looks good. I'll play it and see what it's like. Hopefully that there's actually content. But yep. Anyways, they can specifically focus on this more casual style and give smaller reasons. It could be a really good game. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like the teapot, right? People don't really like the teapot. This is kind of like the same thing in Genshin, where the teapot is just like a housing thing. But what's the point? Like, look, at least in Genshin, the teapot gives you weekly materials, right? You get your resin, you get some XP books, maybe you get some other artifacts or whatever else. You can choose, like you can get more, you can get artifact or weapon XP or whatever. So the teapot, even though it is like a cosmetic thing, it gives you the option. Like, there's at least a reason to do the teapot, right? Because you can get some resources out of it. But with NTE, I'm not seeing the reason for this, right? So that's what they have to tell us. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to stream for a little bit today. I have to get a headset, and I have to get some other things if I want to stream more. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I like talking about these subjects with you guys, and discussing gacha games or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to get a headset, man, because honestly, I can't even hear anything. That's what so I have to like mute my mic every time I want to hear something. So yeah, NTE, I'll be playing that. Ta isn't here. He really wanted the Discord. I'll post it again. Where is it? If you guys want to join the Discord, you can. You don't have to. I'll probably ask P Squeak to join, and then I want to kind of make like a small community of, where we talk about gacha games and what's coming out, what's new. I'm going to be playing Neverness to Everness when it comes out, talking about that. I'm not going to alienate anybody. Look, a lot of people think I hate Wuthering Waves or hate certain community of gamers, but I don't. In the Discord, you can talk about Wuthering Waves, you can talk about Genshin, you can talk about Zenless Zone Zero, you can talk about Star Rail even. I don't even play Star Rail, but you guys can talk about it if you want. And yeah, so it's just I'm not going to be playing I'm not going to be playing Star Rail, but I'm not going to alienate people if they want to play Star Rail. So yeah, I know it's weird because gacha games are a bit tribal, right? There's a lot of tribalism in gacha genre, so we'll see. But if you want to join, that's fine. If you don't, that's cool too. But yeah, so I just wanted to do a test stream today, and I might stream more often. And if I do, it'll be around 2 p.m. EST, and I'll do like 2 or 3 hour streams maybe, and that'll be my time slot because I think there's a lot of other gacha streamers sort of get on around like 5 to 6 p.m. and then they have their time slot, and Red New gets on later, Fobmaster gets on later, Ziox usually gets on later as well, so I could like do the early afternoon slot. Maybe there's not a lot of people watching at that time, so they want someone to watch or something, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, P Squeak will probably join the Discord if I ask him, and yep. But that's it for the stream, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see if there's any other see ya, Lulu. Thanks for watching. See ya, Cookie. I don't use Discord much, but I might after I get around to updating and resetting my password. Yeah, that's cool. All right, take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, all right? Peace out.